Sports on Air. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. This is Sports on Air Classics Edition. We are traveling places right now to give you some insider interviews. And my name is Ernest Hernandez, the main host, the main moderator of this program. And I will introduce you the people that will back me up for this episode. First and foremost, I will introduce the Godfather, Brian Yalo.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Good morning, because it's good morning now here, and good evening to Sean. Okay. We hope you like this special episode for Sean.
And of course, we are joined by YouTubers. And first and foremost, you have PH Sports Bureau.
Thank you, Sir Ernest. Good morning and good evening to all of you guys. Kamusta ulit kayo mga kabasketball, at kagaya nga ng matandang kasabihan na ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makararating sa paroroonan. Kaya naman muli nating babalikan at muli tayo magbabalik tanaw sa nakaraang panahon ng Philippine basketball. At sa pagkakataong ito, mapalad tayo dahil pinagbigyan tayo ng ating panahuin. Kaya dyan lang kayo at tinitiyak ko 100% na mag-enjoy kayo sa ating mundo.
There you go. That is Mark Sotelo, PH Sports Bureau. And another YouTube sensation that we have here is Aldrin Magnayi of Hoops.
So ayun po, no, medyo ibang intro muna tayo kasi gagawin nating 100%, 99.99.99 kundi 100% yung episode na to. So abangan nyo.
And of course, we have our favorite coach. Our favorite coach, he is the PBA encyclopedia. Just ask anything about the history of the PBA and he knows about it. Coach Emerson Colina.
Yes, the other way around now. Good morning here, good evening there, and good day to all of you.
And we are traveling places, as I said to you. That is the beauty of Zoom calls right now, is that we can already interview people from any part of the globe as long as there is good internet. We have Coach Enrico Quintana from Washington, D.C.
Good morning to you guys in the Philippines, and a good evening to us here in the United States. Stay tuned. Thank you.
And finally, we have our big guy. He is the man that I would like to bring in a bar fight, but he is tamed right now. He said he is tamed already, but I'm still gonna pick him to a bar fight if I ever get into one. From Barangay Ginebra, San Miguel, Alex Crisano.
Thank you for having me here, Ernest. I want to say hi to all the coaches, or to all the YouTubers, and of course, especially the living legend himself, one of the best imports, Sean Chambers. It's great to share the floor and the internet with you once again, brother. I'll be here and be living proof, man.
There you go. And finally, our guest import for tonight. He is I forgot someone. He is our
you forgot
MVP.
your boy.
He is Mr. Choppy. He is Mr. Choppy, and he has good internet, hopefully. Ivan
Hopefully.
Aldaheno from Dugout, Philippines.
Hi, good morning from the Philippines. Good evening to those who are in the United States. We have a special guest today and tonight, and I hope you're gonna learn from him tonight. Yeah.
And now we have one of the best imports to step in foot in the PBA basketball court. No need for introductions. No need for long introductions, by the way. Sean Chambers from the Alaska Aces. Hello, Sean. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you so much, man. I'm always honored and completely humbled by the continuing love and support that I receive from the Filipino people in the country. What they say, like, you can retire, but your legacy never does. And this has been a living proof. And a lot of times I'm overwhelmed by the continuing love that I've been continuing to get for the last this whole summer with the pandemic. And so I just want to say, Manami Salamat po, and thank you to everybody back in Manila. Thank you. Good evening, good morning back there, and good evening to everybody back on the East Coast for having me. Truly an honor, blessing.
And thank you very much, Sean, for taking time right now to be with us and get used to the usual crew. You've been with us for about 10 minutes, and this is how crazy we are off the camera.
Good. I enjoy that. I like that the Filipino love to have a good time. I love you guys like to have, as they say, sira ulo talaga. I learned that. It's always a good time, and we're looking for laughter and having a good time in the Philippines. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially that Alex is with us already.
Yes. My God, man. I mean, really, when I saw Alex first, I was so excited to see my guy, man. This guy, when he was a youngster coming up, I was pulling for him, and I wanted to be successful, just not against Alaska, and of course he was with the But man, when he came through, I was a big fan of Alex, and I'm glad to see him. I haven't seen him since, man, almost 20 years now. So good to see. I did see you on some. I jumped on something. I saw you on some social media, so I saw some plugging, and I saw you still working out, looking stronger than ever, man. So I was like, that guy, he's the man. Love that guy.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Likewise.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know. I'm not sure. When I retired, my very last game, you might not even know this, was against you guys.
Yeah.
So actually, we were playing Ginebra at the old Ultra, and I have the video, and I'll tell you, and Alex probably don't even know this, but those guys, when they gave me my jersey, they gave me my jersey in a frame as when they retired it for Alaska. They had a little ceremony at halftime. All my guys from Alaska came in, embraced me, and gave me a hug, and thanked me for the services. But each and every one of the guys from Ginebra came and said hello to me. Each and every one of them. Mark the Spark and Alex and every one of them came and gave me love as I was, walking off the court for the very last time as a player. I wasn't even a player at the time. Like, I was already in street clothes, and Alaska was playing. I remember that game. So I don't know if you remember that, but I got that actual.
I do remember when you retired. Yeah, you retired your jersey. You weren't playing. Yeah, you came back and you retired it. Yes, I remember that. Of course, Sean.
Yeah, that's love right there. Yeah, sir.
Oh, for sure.
There are only a few imports. Hence, Filipino players that get their numbers retired. And how many imports can say that? I mean,
I think I'm the only one.
Yeah.
I think everyone has his number retired. I don't think Norman or Bobby has a retire, although we know they probably should have their numbers retired as well. But it is truly an honor to be the first American, I think the only import to have his number retired, and be one of only two Americans named as Mr. 100%. So those kind of honors, as you guys know, I won one best import. I have 7 championship rings, but those kind of things, your number retired and being one of only 2 to be Mr. 100% are the legacy part. There's a lot of imports. We can't even name them all, but there's only 2 100% and only one that has the number retired.
Yeah, indeed. So we are in basketball royalty here, folks. Sean Chambers is indeed something else. I mean, you know what, Sean, I gotta admit, most of the teams that I root for are against Alaska. So, whenever you're there, it's like, oh my God, we're gonna face this import again.
Sayang for you.
So of course, yeah. But anyway, the respect is there, my friend. The respect is there. But anyway, Sean, I want let's go back in time right now. We'll put you on a time machine. We'll go back to the time that you're starting to fall in love with basketball. When was that? And tell us that story. I mean, it is read here that you were trying out to become a trackster. Is that true?
So what happened was, man, when I was growing up in Sacramento, we were really big on baseball in one part of Sacramento. And then my mother moved us to the north part of Sacramento, and basketball was big in that part of town. And there's a few reasons why. When we moved to the north part of Sacramento, it was a big military-based community. So a lot of the kids were international kids, like they had lived overseas and lived over in Europe and Asia, Filipinos and Japan. So they were all into the basketball game because they were so more international connected, more than baseball was. As you know, baseball is not as big in other parts of the country as it is in the States, right? I mean, in the world, should I say. So I remember, like, I was a hyper kid. I was super energy. And you guys know this, like, my skill level was decent, but I wasn't always the most skilled guy. I wasn't shooting a lot of threes. I wasn't doing a lot of one-on-one all the time. I was a system guy. But my energy, my hyperactive energy is what made the Filipinos love me, because I was just such a workhorse. Well, when I came from the baseball court and I had my first taste of basketball, and I realized I could just run all day, dive on the floor, get back up, run again, get a rebound, trap, go back over there, run the court. It just fit my DNA, if that makes sense. It just, like, it was my endorphins. Like, still today, as I coach, when I I can be tired. I don't know if you guys know right now, I'm a middle school assistant principal right now. So that takes different energy, mentally, socially, all the things you have to do that can be draining as a school administrator in a school of 900 students and the adult. It can be a draining because there's so many moving parts to it. As soon as I walk onto the basketball court to go coach or to go train a kid, there's my endorphins, man. I'm ready to go. My energy comes up. I'm in love with what I'm doing. I was tired before I got there. Now I'm like on a cloud nine. So once I stepped on the court for the first time, it was like my 7th grade year in middle school is when I was like, man, I'm just addicted to this game, and I was old school. I would like to do I wanted to learn how to do a crossover. I'm running up and down the street with the basketball, just in the street, You come back in the house, your hands are all black from dribbling on the blacktop all day long. It was none of that private training, things like that. And then I wanted to jump. I wanted to learn how to jump out the gym. And that's why I became a track star. What I started doing was, there was a little hill by my house. And it really was it wasn't even a hill. It was like, like an overpass, like something that goes over the train tracks, right? So we made it over like a makeshift hill. We just ran up it and run down, run up it and run down. And then I started doing that. And then I started getting up early in the morning and going up to my high school, and we have a big football field and we had stairs. So I started running the stairs every morning before the school. Like, I would run around the bowl. We have a football bowl, we call it. I would run it about 8 times, where I would go up and down the stairs, run around, up and down the stairs, run around the stairs. And then before you knew it, I was like touching the rim. I was almost dunking almost at the 8th grade. And then by 9th grade, I was dunking. And then another really unique thing that I didn't even realize I was doing, if you know how people train on the ladders, I don't know if you know what an agility thing we have out there for kids now. It's called a ladder agility. Well, when I would walk home from school, I would walk along the train tracks or the railroad tracks. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get something out of this if I have to walk home. I would run on every board of the train track. And little did I know, I was already doing the agility steps that people would eventually start making a lot of money off of. But I was like, man, I'm bored. I started running on the train track, hitting with block, blah, 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 blah. And before you do it, I had quick twitch. I was ready to jump fast. I was ready to jump quick. and my one leg explosion was like ridiculous. So as you know, it's funny. I'm here in Bakersfield, California, where I was here for the high school state championship for track, and this is where I high jumped 7-1 back in high school.
Damn.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So a lot of things, as you know, you guys, we don't do nothing without God's blessing, without God pointing in the right direction. So, I mean, I'm doing these ladders without even knowing it, and then later in life, it's still blessing me still today because I was doing those things as a young kid.
All right. So, but anyway, Sean, with that, I mean, you were also a college player. Tell us about those battles in college. You're not much has been written about you before coming to the Philippines, and that is what we are interested right now. Tell us about that. How did that go? And of course, when was the decision for you to come to the Philippines as well?
So we'll start back in my high school career. So my high school career, my senior year, my team went 33 wins straight. And then we lost in the NorCal playoffs. But I was a 6'2", kind of a forward. I played in the post a lot and defend a lot of big guys. Well, that wasn't a very recruitable position for major universities. But like I said, I high jumped 7 foot in high school. That was a major recruiting piece for people in the high school for track. And because I wasn't getting a lot of attention to get recruited for basketball, which was my love. I only did track because it was something to do during the springtime. I got a scholarship offer to Florida State University for track, and they were going to allow me to try out for basketball, but they weren't going to guarantee it. So right before it was time to go, my mother was like, "Yeah, we don't know anybody in Florida, but if I had known Alec was out there in Florida, maybe they could have, looked out for me back then." But so I ended up going to a junior college out here in San Luis Obispo, not far where I'm at right now today. And it was Cuesta College was the name of the school. I instantly was a sensation in the community of San Luis Obispo. I came from a Sacramento, pretty much a predominantly Black community, to a school where I was literally the only Black kid out of I was one of like 15 Black students or African-American students on the campus out of 10,000 students. I became a sensation. I became an all-state player as a junior college member. Then I was going to go to Loyola Marymount from the junior college, but in between that, the coach got fired when I committed to them. So the coach got let go at LMU. That was before Westhead came in there to come with the run and gun style of game. I would have been there, but they didn't hire a coach for like 2 months. So I ended up staying and going to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Incredible career there. I wouldn't change it for the world. I was 2-time Division II All-American. I was 2-time league MVP. I was 2-time league champion.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just an incredible experience. And I think it really prepared me for life in the Philippines because I was really the big man on campus. I wasn't even looking for it, but it taught me how to stay humble, stay connected with your teammates. You always want to, I was really big that I never want to be bigger than my teammates. Although I was getting the accolades, but I always wanted to give them their respect and give them like it's a we thing and not just a me thing. I couldn't play without my teammates. So then when I went to Cal Poly, being that it was a Division II school, I did not get drafted, but I got invited to the Charlotte Hornets rookie camp. I go to the Charlotte Hornets rookie camp. I don't do well at all, because I'm completely intimidated by the atmosphere. Like people that I was watching growing up was guys that are old now, like Kelly Tripucka, J.R. Reed.
Glenn Rice?
Yes. They were all there, and I was like, man, I do not belong here. And I tried, and I couldn't get out of my head that I belonged there. Well, and I'm flying back from Florida back to LAX. I'm on the plane, and I just kept thinking to myself, and I can even go back. When I was playing at Cal Poly, I had the most incredible career because before every game, I used to play out of fear of failure. I never wanted to fail. I didn't. The winning was great, but I never wanted to fail. So I used to go and pray before every game, and I'd be in the locker room, and I would just be going like this. You gotta remember the rebound. You gotta remember the rebound. You gotta run the court. You gotta hustle. You gotta hustle. And I would just get into this trance, man. And then the spirit would come over me, and it would go, "Just believe. Just believe. Just believe you're here for a reason." And I would just have the most incredible college games, the most incredible experience in college. So jump forward to the Charlotte Hornets camp. I'm flying back to LA. I feel like I'm so depressed. I felt like I let my mother down. I felt like I let my university down. I felt like I let all my friends down and my teammates. So you know something about me. It was always nothing. It wasn't never about me. It was always like I never wanted to fail my teammates, my friends, or my families. I felt like I was playing for so many more people. And so I was on the plane and I was kind of praying to myself, and then the spirit came over me and goes, "You didn't believe. You didn't believe. You know, I put you in a situation to be successful. All you had to do was just believe." Get off the airplane. And I said to myself, I'll never doubt what God has planned for me from then on, ever. I will never doubt it. I get off the airplane, walking through the airport in LAX, I get a call from the white courtesy phone back in those days, right? No cell phones, no pagers, no internet, none of that. I got the old school, like we used to watch the movies when, you got a phone call, the white courtesy phone call, and you're like, so the first thing that goes in your mind back then was like, there's an emergency. It's never good news. I get on that phone, and this was after we did the tour in the Philippines. So let me jump, right? This is after I did my first tour. Called and say, "Hey, this is Paul." I can't even think of Paul's last name. This is Paul. I'm calling for behalf of a team from the Philippines called Alaska Aces. They want to know if you want to come over, but you have to leave the next day. Like, you really need to stay at the airport. We're going to send you a ticket, and you have to fly directly to the Philippines. So I couldn't go home. I couldn't talk to my mom. Couldn't let them all know that. I called my mother on the phone. I'm like, I'm going to the Philippines. So I get on the airplane, and the whole time flying there, 14 hours, as I was praying, I go, I believe this is where God wants me to be. I'll never doubt that. 13 years later, 7 championships, legacy, never forgotten, forever remembered, even against those who rooted against me, I'm now, right? So now the legacy has went crazy because now that I'm not playing anymore, so people like Ernest don't have to be mad at me anymore. I'm okay.
Once you get the higher basketball knowledge, you get to appreciate everyone.
So now you get to appreciate everybody. So now, because
I didn't like Tony Harris first, and I got to interview him. So yeah.
Right. So now the people that rooted against me admire me now because we did it the right way. We never cheated. We played the right way. We did it with integrity. We did it with grace. I was a hard competitor, as you know, but I never retaliated. I never was the guy that would throw a crazy elbow. I maybe tried to knock Alex down twice or whatever, but I did it the right way. You know what I mean? I was a physical player, but I played the right way. So now when I go back to Manila, I'm blown away by the growth of the legacy.
Yeah.
Because guys who cheered against me, they were going, man, I hated when you played my team. I hated it. But
a lot of people hated Alaska at that time. I mean, you had Bong Hawkins and Pochwinho who can jump like 3 inches and getting all the rebounds. And your best player was a 5'7" guy. I mean,
a 5'7" guy.
They go like that, right? The bar when they show you how high you jump, they go like this. Oh, taas ng talon, huh? They go jump this high, and then they take that.
I mean, it was like, how did these guys get a grand slam with this kind of roster? It's like, that's the Tim Cone magic right there. But
well, what I will say to that is, like I said, like when I got back, my mentality that I was playing for so many things that were bigger than myself, every one of those guys felt the same way. Like I was playing for Johnny, Bong, JoJo, Pudge, Bellado, Ruel Gomez, the whole crew. We all were playing for each other. So we had this unbelievable energy and synergy with one another. Like when we had a bad game, you didn't even have to say, Tim Cone didn't even have to say anything. He knew we were all going to be holding each other accountable because we never want to let each other. So it's just one of those, a Grand Slam is one of those lucky things. You just happen to have all the right guys together that were the same mentality and the same drive and the same love for one another. First of all, you have to love one another and like each other to be able to pull that off. Like in Jeffrey also, of course. So Johnny, overachiever, right?
Yeah.
JoJo, overachiever. Bon Hawkins cannot jump. He cannot run. Toughest guy I've ever played with. Overachiever. Pudge Winyard, overachiever. Sean Chambers, way overachiever, right? Don't shoot threes. 6'2", should not be rebounding. Should not be doing the things he's doing. Overachiever. So it was that we had all these guys that we just, if you didn't come with the work, if you didn't come to compete with us on an everyday basis back in the 90s with the same work ethic, you were not going to beat us, no matter how talented you were, because other teams were more talented.
Yeah. The San Miguel's, the
more talent than we did. Sunkiss had way more talent than them when they had Meneses, when they had Kenneth Duremdes, and all those. I mean, they were amazing.
And that was loaded.
Yeah. So those some teams were pure foods. They had way more talent than us, but we just had an overall work ethic and a love for one another that we would not let each other down. It was just, you cannot. It's one of the things, again, God put you in that place for a certain reason. And those guys, every one of those guys, good people, good family people, and they do things the right way with integrity.
And reminding about that team, it fits like a glove.
Yes.
It fits like a glove. I mean, it's like the 2004 Detroit Pistons. I mean, take out one of those starting 5 players, it's gonna fall. But the thing is, with that team, everyone knows their role, everyone knows their places, and everyone respects the coach, I suppose. In order for that to function, everyone has to respect the coach.
Yeah, we all love Tim Cone. He was the leader of the ship, but more importantly, Freddie Utensu was really the one driving force. Like, he wanted us to be just great guys in integrity for the company,
Okay, Sean, before we go further, take us back. Okay, the first time you went to Manila. Okay.
Yeah.
The
All-Stars.
IBA World Challenge.
Yes.
Okay. For us who weren't aware, I mean, Coach Emmer is that's why we brought him here. Tell us about that tournament. Tell us about the first impression of Philippine basketball.
So I'm going to be very blunt with you, okay, and very real with you guys. And so I grew up in Sacramento, California. Not a bad city, but I grew up in what's supposed to be considered one of the tough neighborhoods, one of the ghetto parts of Sacramento, which is not that bad. When we did this tour, we first stop was in Japan. We landed in Tokyo. We spent the night there. The next stop we went to Seoul, Korea. We stayed in Seoul, Korea for, I think, maybe 5 or 6 days, and we played 2 games there. And it was an amazing experience. We actually, kind of funny, because we actually stayed in a YMCA lodging there in Seoul, Korea. But it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty fun. It was kind of cool. Almost like dormitories. And then our next stop, we landed one day in Hong Kong, and then our next stop was in Manila. Okay? So as a young kid, I've never been out of the United States. That was the first time I had a passport, the first time I've ever traveled. We flew in late at night. We get to the hotel. We were staying off of Rojas Boulevard. And we're talking back in 1987, not where the country has progressed to where it is now, right? So I get out of the hotel and I take my first, just randomly, I decided I'm going to go walk around the city, And that was the first time I've ever been to a country that was considered a third world country. And I didn't understand, like, the highs and the lows of social economics in the Philippines. So I was absolutely kind of shocked for a minute. It took me a while to like, okay, like where exactly am I? So then we went to the Ultra for our first practice, and then we had our first game. And then we were absolutely mobbed by thousands of people who just wanted to see us. And then we get to the Ultra and play our first game, and it's standing room only. It wasn't like that in Korea. It wasn't like that in Hong Kong. It wasn't like that in Japan.
Mm.
It was like one of my teammates kept telling us, said, look, you go to the Philippines, his name was, you guys remember Ray Hall, Sugar Ray Hall. Sugar Ray Hall was the name. He played for Pure Foods for 1 year. He said, it is a different beast in the Philippines. The way they love basketball is like nothing you'll ever see in your life. And we, as the Americans, black guys growing up in the city, we're like, yeah, right, get out of here, right, get out of here, right. We play basketballs in our hood. That's what we do. The first night at the Ultra, I knew I was in a different place. I knew I was in a different place as far as basketball love in the basketball world. The next night, we had the slam dunk contest, the elimination. I win the first round of slam contest. Now, this is not the championship, but just the elimination. Now I do my normal walk around. I would go to a Dunkin' Donuts off of Rojas Boulevard. We stayed at a place that was called the Celaya Hotel. I don't know if you guys remember that. So every morning I was walking to the Dunkin' Donuts. After winning that first dunk contest that was on TV, obviously every game's on TV. Now I'm getting mobbed by everybody in the streets. I'm still thinking I'm a normal dude. I'm not a basketball celebrity. I'm just a regular guy from Sacramento. I walk up and down the street to the Dunkin' Donuts, and now little kids are following me. People are coming to ask me for my autograph. People are talking. I'm like, what is going on? Go back. We play another game. The next night is the championship slam dunk contest against, anybody remember?
Coach Emmer?
I do. I do. I remember that.
You remember who it was?
Billy Ray?
Billy Ray Bates.
Yep.
Billy Ray Bates.
The Black Superman. The hero of the Philippines.
He said, Superman!
The Black Superman. I'm like, everybody, like, again, I was doing a morning walk every morning to Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody kept asking me, what are you going to do with the Black Superman? And I'm like, what are these people talking about? What are you going to do with the Black Superman? The Black Superman, he's the man. And I didn't even know who Billy Ray Bates was. I didn't even know who he was. And so everybody, like, when we got to the Ultra, it's packed. Thousands of people outside. Thousands of people outside for the dunk contest. Not for the game, for the dunk contest. So we get in there, and then I'm like, okay, it's just two of us dunking today. And I'm just standing there with my teammates before the game, and all of a sudden, the crowd goes nuts. They are going crazy. People are standing and yelling and screaming, and Billy Ray Bates comes out with a black cape with the Superman on it.
Showtime.
And we do that now, but he was way ahead of the game back then. He comes out with his black cape, and I mean, the place went crazy. So we were going dunk for dunk. I did my first dunk, I got 50. He got his first dunk, he got 50 points. I did my next dunk, I got 50. He did his next dunk, he got 50. I did a dunk where I tried to jump over the three guys from the free throw line. I got 50. He did that dunk, he got 50. So now we're in a dunk off. Flip the coin, I got to go first again. This time I stacked two guys on top of each other, and I jumped over them to end dunk, and that was almost from the free throw line, maybe a step inside. Billy Ray Bates goes for his dunk, and he misses. So, of course, I win. That might be one of the biggest accomplishments ever in the Philippines for me. Because from then on, I became a national hero legend.
Hey, Sean, is this the...
Yes, that was the one. That was the second year. But yeah, that's Lewis Lloyd right there in the middle, a former player for the Houston Rockets. I think he passed Winston Wright and Mike Williams. Those are all, and Bobby Parks, rest in peace. Yeah, those were some basketball legends right there. But yeah, that was the crowd, man. Billy Berry Braves walked in the gym, and they went crazy, lost their minds. But then when I beat them, I became a national hero. It was like people were just like, "Oh my God, you were the black kryptonite. You were the kryptonite."
Black kryptonite.
Actually, sir, that torture chamber. The
torture chamber.
The Celtics.
Talaga. So the next day now, again, I'm not realizing the celebrity status that is now being bestowed upon me. This is all happening in 1 week us in the Philippines, right? So now I go to the Dunkin' Donuts and the 7-Eleven. This time when I walk back, I'm telling you, about 1,000 people there. People were coming out of the barn, guys, out of the park, out of the cars. People just swarmed us, me and one of my teammates, just to say hi now after I beat Billy Ray Bates.
That is when the name Sean Chambers became a household name in the Philippines.
Right. And then the next year, I was back playing for Alaska Aces.
Okay. About that, you said that you're going to be playing for Alaska Aces. When was that pitch for you to come to Alaska?
So it was when I got released from the Charlotte Hornets. I was flying back because I got invited to a rookie camp again. And I was flying back, and I got a call from in LAX, and I flew in. It was kind of weird because I had to practice against, I think his name was Tom Mott, I think his name was, the guy whose place I took. I had to practice against him before they decided to take me or the other guy, the guy I was replacing. And then again, like I said, my energy, my level, the way I played, and the speed and the way I competed, relentless. It was like he was looked like a JV player compared to me with what I was doing in our first workout. And so they were like, absolutely, this is the guy we need. And back then, my teammates were Abi Gadabin. I've been really lucky because I played in 3 different decades, right? I played with Abi Gadabin, Yoyo Villamine, Ricky Ruloso, Frankie Lamb, and then we had B-Boy Ravanas. Those were our older guys. And then I had the rookies with Bong Alvarez, Boy Kabahu, Rick Murata, and Eric Altamirano. So we have 4 rookies. I was one of the 4 rookies, and then the 5 veterans over here. And Don Polistico was on our team then too. But Yoyo Villamy and Abi Gadabin. And Abi Gadabin really educated me so much about the Philippines, the Philippine culture, and to always respect what Filipinos do every day. He really educated me about the love that Filipino people have about basketball, how they're going to admire you, but always remember that as Filipinos, we work hard every day, and they're going to respect you, but make sure you respect them back. So I used to ride to the game a lot with Abi Gadabin, and he would just talk to me, man. Like I was the
young guy all the ropes of the Philippines.
Yeah, man. And I was that guy. Like I was that dude. Like I've always had respect for my elders, and like when I got to the league there, I just wanted to know so much. I wanted to learn about what it was like to be successful there. What does it take to be a good guy? What do the people want to see? And what do they want to see from an American guy as far as the culture wise? And so I would ride with Abi Gadabin all the time, and again, I think that's one of the things what I like about Alex, and when they came into the league and Mark, it was like, like, of course they want to take you down, but it was always with a level of respect too. Like, man, I respect what you did. I'm here to kick your butt, but man, I'm always going to show you respect because you last this long. Because we know to last anywhere in anything in this world, longevity is success, right? The longer you can last, the longer success you have, and that is your legacy. So, and then there were some guys that came in that were hotheads that they don't last because they don't respect the people before them, and they don't respect the game, so the game will not respect them back.
And Sean, talking about the Filipino culture, did Abet Giraben teach you how to do manopok?
No, he did not teach how to do manopok. But so, I'm not as fluent as I like to be, but what I did was whenever I can try to learn anything about the Filipino culture, I dove in. Like, I try to learn Tagalog. I try to ask people words. I try to ask people saying, and I just try to, like, I didn't want to be like some of the imports, like, you know, some of the imports would come over to the Philippines and they would be like super mayabang talaga, right? They would not really include themselves in everything with the Filipino culture. So
Totoo yan eh. Totoo. Totoo.
Talaga pare. So let's say one of my teammates was having a birthday party for one of their kids. Tito Chambers was there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be with the kids. I'm going to be with the families. If we're doing anything within the community, I'm going to be there. You know, I wanted to be included. I didn't want to be an outside. I wanted to be part of. And that's what kind of made my career there. Because I'll tell you this. I played for 3 decades. I played from 1989, 90 to 2001 when I retired, 2002. Every one of my teammates, I played with almost like 50, 60 different teammates, more than that probably. But every one of my teammates will say like they love and respect me because I wanted to be with them and I want to be part of them and I didn't want to be bigger or outside of what they were about. I wanted to be part of their family. I wanted to be a family atmosphere with us.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. Mark here unearthed a video.
Sure.
Mark, you want to show that video? It's the slam dunk competition video. So he found it.
Oh wow.
Mark found it.
Hold on. Let me get my popcorn.
See it?
Oh yeah.
And wearing the Ginebra jersey, you're up against the entire Ginebra team.
There we go. Look behind the back. Yes. Over 2 guys right there, free throw line. Yes. Okay, the tie shorts. Here we go. From the free throw line, I'll down.
That's Billy Rebates and Sean talking. I think they're on the finals, I think.
This is the dunk off right now. Yes. And then watch this dunk. This is a big one. And the next one, Billy Ray Bates missed his dunk.
The check is the big one. The check is the big one.
Yeah, that's the big one right there. That check.
The check.
How much did you get in that competition, Sean?
Right. I mean, come on, man. Back in 1980, what was that? 88, 87, what? That was 25,000 pesos. That was a lot of money back then.
Oh, that was a lot.
What do you do with it?
I took it home, gave some to my mama.
There you go.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
Make your mama proud, right there.
Right.
A lot of money back then, man. It was a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. Questions about the early Alaska years of Sean.
Actually, I have a question for Sean. Before you went to Alaska, you were never known to have a good jump shot. But how then when you got to Alaska, you developed that jump shot. So can you take us through what you did to develop your jump shot?
So again, I relied on my teammates. You guys know Ruel Gomez. So Ruel Gomez is one of the best pure shooters I've ever seen in my life. He didn't get the accolades for it because he didn't play a lot of minutes for us. He was a role player. But Ruel Gomez during practice was the most pure shooter I've ever seen in my life. So one year, Tim Cohn and I were talking, like, we got to expand your game. And I stayed, instead of going home after my conference, I stayed one summer. I stayed the whole year almost in the Philippines. I paid for myself to stay. And I stayed and I worked out with Ruel Gomez in Reyes Gym for a whole summer and just shot jump shots. You know, and honestly, it was a lot easier because I had, we had our utility guys and we had a gym. So I had guys that could rebound for me. I had a gym time I can go, and I had gym space that would pay for it. It was not that easy back at home, right? You would have to be paying a trainer, blah, blah, blah.
Yep, agree.
Right. So it was actually willing to stay there and work on my game in Manila was actually a lot easier than it was for me to go home. So during the Grand Slam in 96, 90, and 97 and 98, I actually had a pretty decent mid-range jumper that I kept people they had to respect my game from that, which took my game to another level. Like the Grand Slam year, I was just on fire. Like I really felt I couldn't miss.
Okay, and that jump shot has killed a lot of teams.
Yep.
And the bank shot.
It's a simple bank shot. It's simple. Yeah. It's not.
Yep.
I hit that bank shot before. I mean, come on, man. You're gonna kill those
Tim Duncan.
Tim
Duncan. That's why Tim Duncan had a long, productive year because of that bank shot. Champion after champion. It's just the basic thing of basketball. And I think when you're an athlete like Sean, that you had that will to learn and to have that passion, keep on hustling, keep on working.
You add up something to your game as well.
Yeah, very, very.
Okay.
When you're a workhorse like that, yeah, Sean's a workhorse. Yeah.
Sean, first championship of Timcon, you were there. First of the many championship. I mean, the last PBA championship was under Timcon, but the first one was with you. Okay.
Yes.
With you, I remember the cast. Bong Alvarez was there. I'm a big Bong Alvarez fan. So, I mean, you guys were clicking that year, and Bong Alvarez was,
we were the Alaska Air Force back then. We were flying and dunking everywhere. Bong Alvarez was so talented. He was so good. He was so spectacular. The amazing hands. Obviously, people ask me what championship that I love the most. Is always the first one. It's always like your first baby. And because I wanted it so bad, the team wanted it so bad. We had gotten close in 1990, and we lost to Pure Foods 2 out of 3 or whatever, that 5-game series. We were up 2-0, and then we lost 3 games in a row to Pure Foods in 1990. And let me back up, because when I first arrived in 1989, I saw San Miguel win a Grand Slam. Yeah. And from then on, my whole mindset, I wanted to win a championship and I wanted to win a Grand Slam, because I just thought that was just such an amazing feat. And I was there and saw San Miguel win that Grand Slam in 1989. So in 90, we got close. We lost it. So then in 1991, here we are playing against Wes Matthews, the former Los Angeles Laker.
Yeah, and the father of Wesley Matthews right now.
Yes. Well. And nobody gave us a chance at all. And what I did know, Wes Matthews was a phenomenal scorer, but I knew to my core, he was not going to want it more than I did, because he's coming from an NBA background. He just won an NBA championship 2 or 3 years ago. And to me, the PBA was my NBA. It was my championship. So that series went 3-0. We killed them and knocked them out right away, right? And Bon Hawkins was amazing. Frankie Lynn was amazing. Rick Murata, Boy Kabahu was amazing. But B-Boy Ravana's, I think it was the unsung hero of that series, because he played amazing defense on Wesley Matthews.
Okay.
So when you talk about the championships, so not only I was part of Timcon's first in 91, his second one in 92, his next one in 95. So I was part of his first 3 championships for Timcon.
And it started this Timcon dynasty that has been running until today in the PBA.
Until today, yes.
And talk about, of course, the first championship. Of course, being under Timcon.
Yes.
How did Timcon evolve? I mean, I'm sure he's a better coach now as compared to the first championship.
Sure. I think for our guys, and like Timcon and I were such a great balance for the guys completely, because I won't say Tim was rigid, but he was very structured, and he put in a game plan, and he would come a little bit intense sometimes. And on the other side of the fence, I was the jolly-go-lucky, let's have a good time and play basketball and have fun, and let's go, kick butt together. So the days when he was like super intense, the one thing that I could do was create jokes in the program within the guys that the Filipino guys would never do, right? There's a level of respect for your coach, and if coach is serious and intense, and the air is thick, nobody in the team would go like make a joke or break that vibe. Where I would come in and be like, yo, so what are we gonna have for dinner today? Or I would make a joke about it, and everybody would like, oh, okay, thank you, Sean. So we were such a great balance for each other, And I would every now and then I would tease and I go, Sira Ulu talaga white. The white guy Sira Ulu, don't listen to him, and the guys would be like, you call our coach crazy, And I was just that guy that I was listening to one of Tim Cohn's podcasts the other day, and he was saying about the two imports, his two favorite imports, myself and Brownlee. And he was he says Justin is super quiet. I don't know Justin that well. I just met him the last time I was there. He said Justin is very quiet, very shy, doesn't talk like a lot, and he doesn't speak a lot, and he'd rather be in the corner. And he goes, then Sean Chamber comes in like a typhoon. Oof. Everybody's bubbly. How you doing? Give me some love. How are you? You my brother. Hey, come over here. I love you too. And so the guys just took to that. There's two different types of players, but they both work for those situations. So the Alaska guys, they needed me to be that like jolly loving guy, and let's go have fun, and let's go take care of our families. But Tim evolved as we kept going because first of all, we were just a pick and roll and isolation team early. And then we put in the triangle offense in 1992, 93. And we were horrible for 2 years.
But that is the foundation. But that is the foundation. And Tim Cohn somewhat perfected that. That was the seed that was planted that has been terrorizing teams up to today.
Sure. So what Tim says, and which is so true, once you commit to it, you got to stick with it. You can't give up on it. And then once you start to have success, it will take care of itself. But a lot of people will give up on it and then try to do something new. Like the first thing I said with Alex, I'm watching games on TV, is, I'm going to learn some things, but I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to stick to what I do. I'll add some pieces to it. Mm-hmm. And so Tim was very lucky that Fred let him get through the 92 and the 93 season. Like a lot of people don't know, like in 93, I got injured. So I got injured right before the conference started for the third conference. I had a stress fracture. So I was out for the first month and a half. So I didn't get to play the first month and a half of that season. And I came back at the very end of the season. We ended up getting eliminated. And so then he stuck with it. Then 94, I come back over. Boom. We won our next third conference. 95, they got close. I come back over. Boom. We beat San Miguel in a 7-game series. 96, they win our first All-Filipino conference. 96, Derek Hamilton gets in trouble. Tim calls me. You need me to come over in the middle of the conference right now. 96, I was matabat, konti lang matibat. So I was a little fat at the time, but I played myself into shape. We go, boom, we win that second conference. 96, we get to the third conference. And the third conference, honestly, at that point, we were like the old San Miguel's of the 90s. I mean, mid 80s. We were just better than everybody.
Already.
We were just better than everybody else. We went on a 13-game winning streak.
And you know what? The addition of Johnny Abarrientos, that propelled you guys. I mean,
oh yeah.
Talk about
everybody's at their peak. Johnny, Jojo, Bong, Putsch, myself, Jeffrey Cardiasso had just got into the mix.
Yeah.
I think we had Merwin. I mean, it was like we were all at our peak at the right time in 96. And then 97, we added Kenneth Dorimdes.
That is what made you guys really tough. It became a deep team. And but I want to track back. I mean, when Johnny Abarrientos, your first impression of the guy, what was What was the impression when you saw Johnny Barrientos, 5'7", 5'8"? I mean, he's gonna be the floor general for Tim Cone. What was your first impression when you saw Johnny Barrientos?
Rock star. Best I've ever seen. So a lot of people don't know, like in 90, when did they win the UAP? I think 91 or 92. Johnny's team, was he at FEU? Is that correct? Did Johnny go to FEU?
Yeah, FEU.
Yeah. FEU, yes.
So in those years, I used to go to the UAP games after practice to go watch Johnny play.
Okay.
I would go to the whatever ultra. I'm sorry,
Araneta.
I would go to Araneta, fly out of practice just to go watch Johnny play. And back then, they used to play some of the games at Antoneo's gym.
Yeah.
So I would go fly out and go to Antoneo's gym and watch Johnny play. And I was a pro player, but I was a big Johnny Barrientos fan. I love watching Johnny. So when we got to the draft, and I would go back to practicing and brag so much about Johnny, I would tell Tim about Johnny. And of course, Tim was already on him. You know, I didn't really make the deal, but I know I helped influence it a little bit. I was like, it was just amazing to go watch Johnny play in those atmospheres, you know, go watch him play. And so when we got Johnny, I knew it was a matter of time that he was just going to kill the league. He was going to be the best player ever, especially the best point guard ever to play in that league. And Alex can tell you guys this, you know, you guys, reporters and as YouTubers and radio personalities, you don't see the everyday practice. The things that happen in practice is sometimes more incredible than what you see in a game.
In the game.
Johnny would just kill everybody in practice. Effortlessly. The shots he would make on practice, we used to feel sorry for June Reyes. Like, he had no chance, you know? He had no chance. And you'd be like, Johnny, we would do a shooting drill in Alaska where you shoot for like 2 minutes, you go around the horn, and they would count it, see what your numbers are. I don't know if you ever saw Tim does this. Johnny will go 2 minutes without missing a shot. And we would all, I'm telling you, we would all sit in practice. When it was Johnny's turn to go, we'll all just watch it. And this is insane. He'll go 2 minutes around this horn and back and go, and they just throw the ball. And he would not miss a shot.
He used to do that. He used to do that when he was coaching with Ginebra, when I was there in 2005. He did that, but he said, "You like backboard? Okay, watch."
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It was insane.
Backboard. That was his thing on the horn. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Around horn. Did he just shoot him all off the backboard? All off the backboard. Yes. Like it was incredible. And that's the things you guys don't see because we'll keep it conservative in the game to win. We don't try to do too much crazy, right? But Johnny would do things in practice that would just blow our minds away. And we were like, we're so lucky we got him. And you guys don't, you know. We're so lucky because, I mean, let's be real. There's times where games got tight and Johnny would bail us out. It wasn't me. It wasn't Jolas. It wasn't Bong. Johnny would go, he'll create a shot. He'll make a shot. So when you have a guy like that, even though he was 5'6", that can create his own shot and with his confidence and his skill level, you're always got a chance to win every time. I don't know if you guys remember the game, the playoff game against San Miguel. This is before Alex time. San Miguel's up in the series 3-2. Ball Hawkins couldn't play in this game because he already had a hamstring strain. We go down at halftime. I think we're down by like 17, 18 points at halftime. In game 6, right? San Miguel coming in the hallway celebrating. This is at the Oak Gwinnett Astrodome. We had to walk by each other in the hallways. San Miguel feel like they won the championship. And I have this game on film. I just watched it about 3 months ago. I was pulling my old tapes out, showing my son. San Miguel's walking by us in the hallway. They're screaming and yelling. We're in our locker room like, damn, we just lost this championship series. Tim Cone comes in the locker room and goes, well, you couldn't have played any worse than you could right now. So just go out and play basketball. Johnny did not miss a shot the whole second half. And we came back and won that game. And then, of course, we won game 7 the next game. And I know still today, Norman Black said that is one of the most painful losses in his career as a coach. Because that series was over. They had won it. It was up by 18 going at halftime. I think it's funny. Johnny did not miss a shot the whole second half. I think I missed one or two the second half. And we came back and put on a run that was something crazy. And, of course, you come back Game 7 now. The momentum's all on our side. And, of course, Ball Hawkins plays Game 7.
Was this 95, Sean? Was
95, yes.
This is the game that Kenny Travis threw the ball up, right? And he almost cried.
Exactly. So imagine, right, they had won the championship. So Kenny Travis got so upset, he took the ball and he threw it way up to the balcony, and he got a technical and all that. But going back where my point was, Johnny Ever refused to let us lose that game. And that game was lost. We were done. Yeah. We had no idea how we're going to get back and try to win that game.
Sean, of course, back in the 90s, there was a rumor, and it was confirmed now.
Absolutely.
That Johnny is being asked to try it for the Charlotte Hornets. And you're telling me right now that you were part of the training camp of Charlotte. Did you give any endorsement? I mean, to the Charlotte Hornets camp. I mean, how did that happen? I mean, did someone tell scouts from the Charlotte Hornets to come here? Did you have a hand on that?
I did not have a hand on that, but there was a guy that was here that was from the Charlotte Hornets. I'm sorry, here. When I say here, I mean the Philippines. There was a guy that was there. He was from the Charlotte Hornets scouting team. He had came to Manila, and I don't know, he was there for something else, but he eventually saw Johnny, and he was like, we need to get this guy in camp. And there was negotiation where he was going to go. We were all terrified because we're like, man, he's going to leave us. He's going to make it.
Yeah.
He's going to make it. Like, we felt he could make it. There were questions like, is he really big enough? And they were trying to compare it because they had Manute Bowles at the time, right?
Yeah.
So, and
it's a big man league back then.
Right. Johnny could have made that team. And so I know they were working with Alaska management, trying to figure out a way to, like, at least get him over there to the workouts and the tryouts. And I don't know why it never happened. But that was definitely on the table. He was definitely going to get a tryout with the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, so you're saying to me right now that if Johnny went, he will be the first natural-born NBA player.
Johnny would have made the team. Johnny would have made the team. Now,
I say, yeah.
He would have had a little bit of an issue of trying not to be make sure they see him as a true player and not as a novelty because he was a small guard. And so, kind of like, you remember Jeremy Lamb? Is that his name? The
Jeremy
Chinese
Lamb.
guy?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
Jeremy Lamb.
Everybody was in love. He was a novelty, and then he became a player after he kept having those big games. Like, I would want them to make sure they gave Johnny a chance, like not Spud Webb. Yeah, like Spud Webb. Give Johnny a chance to actually make that squad. Now, the deal was, I think they were concerned, like, how much would they really play him? You know, how much would they really use him and value him as a player? So I think that was part of the negotiation that was going on. Like, were they going to really use him, or were they just going to, But I truly believe Johnny was that good. He was that good.
Alex, you're hearing this, right?
100%. I heard about it when I first went there in 98, 99. And then when I was moving to the PBA, they were saying, yeah, these players are so good. Some of them might just go to the NBA. And I was, I said, like who? They said, yeah, the guy Flying A from the Alaska Aces.
Yeah.
I said, he really? Yeah. And I was like, that's when I came in the league. And I was like, wow. I said, this guy. So, of course, when I played against him, first thing that I do remember is came out of June Limput and Vahelmaness's mouth. They were like, listen, when you get a rebound, don't bring that down.
That's right.
Here.
That's
right.
Johnny
would steal it. He stole it from me twice. And I was like, once I got the rebound and I went like this to go give it out, pop, and I looked and he dribbled it back out and he looked at me. I said, you son of a son.
He's the master at it. The master.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
To get away with Johnny, Bong Hawkins is also waiting on the side to steal the ball with two hands, right?
Yes.
They were both good at it. It was like, I would have never thought about it. They come around you and they just snatch it from you. Like you brought it down.
Yeah. Once you brought it past your shoulders, pop, it was gone. That's what I remember.
Yeah. But Johnny was incredible, man. What an incredible talent.
Okay, guys. Any more questions for Sean regarding maybe the Grand Slam years? Guys, your turn. Mark.
Yeah, I remember, Sean, every time you play here, especially during the last conference of each and every year, there's just a little to no adjustment on your end, on your part, every time you're here. And man, everyone in Alaska team is, so pumped up, including Mang Tom,
Oh, yes.
How is that? Why is their confidence so high every time you're back here to help them?
Yeah, and it's true. Like when I came back, the expectation that we were going to be successful because they knew what I was going to bring to the table. They knew that, like I said, that was my NBA. This is where I wanted to have my success. So instantly our energy level picked up. Our confidence level came up because they knew I was going to do all the dirty work and try to be to help them be successful. And I didn't I didn't like to lose. Like I said, my fear was more in losing than winning. So because I feared losing so much, I did everything it took not to lose. And we were like the classic Chicago Bulls. If we ever lost a game and had a bad game, you knew the next team was going to be in trouble, right? It was like we took model that. We modeled that. If we lost, we played a bad game. Don't be the next team on our schedule. We were going to be super locked in. We were going to be super focused, and I love that about our guys. I love that about about myself. I remember games where in a playoffs, in playoff series where I just stunk it up like a game 1 or a game 2, and then in game 3 I was on fire because I was like, I'm not going to let my guys down. And, we had different role models. Like our role model was Michael Jordan. That's what we saw him do. So we wanted to be like him.
And I'm actually a big Jolas fan, so I never missed any single Alaska game since 1991, since he was traded for Elmer Kabag. I think you're with Jolas already in 1991 championship, not with Elmer already. Elmer's already with Alvin.
Yes. So yeah, we had lost to Jolas when they were with Purefoods in 1990, and there's certain guys that, and Alex can tell you this too as a player, there's certain guys, although you compete against them, you have this kind of a connection and this kind of respect for them. And you really can't really, you just admire the way they play, which is hard when you're competing against them, right? You're like, oh man, I want to kick this guy's butt. But man, there's something about this guy I really like. He's such a, the way he plays the game, the way he goes about his game is like, I respect it. So I have played against Jolas in 89 and 90 before he joined us in 91. And I remember when we made the trade for him, I was back home in the States and Tim Cone told me, I really thought I was on cloud 9. I thought that was like the heavens. Because I was like, that was one of the guys I admired so much as somebody I competed against. And I actually knew his wife before I met Jolas because Buchek was our escort for the IBA team, for the tour team. So she was like our person who kind of took us around and our media escort or whatever. So I had met her before I even met Jolas. So that was such kind of a unique connection. The one I was surprised, the player I was most surprised was Bon Hawkins.
Yeah, I'm still surprised how he did all of those things.
Man, I mean,
still an enigma.
when he was with Presto, I was like, he's okay. He's all right. And I know he had an ACL injury, and I was like, okay. When we traded for him, I think we traded somebody big for him too. I don't know if it was Abi Gadabin or somebody. We traded somebody big for Ball.
Do you know who?
I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody that was well known. So, anyways, when I heard about that, I was like, okay, I wasn't overwhelmed by Bong until I got back to Manila and we started practicing. Still was not overwhelmed by Bong because, again, he wasn't that athletic. He wasn't that fast, that quick. until we had our first couple of games. Now he's a different dude. Tough, trenches, competitor, no back down, fighter, competitor, and hit mid-range shots all day long. Incredible mid-range shooter ever. One of the best mid-range shooters I've ever seen in our league. And shows up to games every day with the same determined workman-like mentality. Then I was like, if you want to be caught in an alley with anybody, you want Ball Hawkins.
And I think Jojo was really rooting for Bong, for team conflict Bong, because he's really having a hard time every time Bong is the one putting a defense on him.
Yeah, and it was funny because Jojo told us that story one time. We were all doing a team podcast like back in April. We did a Grand Slam podcast. And Jojo said that. He said, I kept asking Tim Cohn, you should get Ball Hawkins because I can't score against him. And I was like, really? That guy's slow, Jojo. Come on, man. You can't.
He's a technician. Ball Hawkins was a technician. That's why.
Yeah. But after a while, this is his main weapon. He was a technician. The brain of Ball Hawkins is the main weapon.
He was also the kryptonite for Alvin, but Ramon, he always pulled the chair.
Yeah. You go to my Facebook page and you look at some of those leak out dunks I got. Look who throws the ball out. Look who gets the rebound, right? Ball Hawkins. Yeah. Ball Hawkins in there scrapping for 5 guys. I'm able to fly by the shooter. Ball Hawkins throws a full court pass, and I'm killing it on the rim. That's all Ball Hawkins. I'm like, it's a trip. The things he was able to do, man, his size. Not able to jump, and just such a competitor, just a competitor.
And the Bong Hawkins thing. I mean, it's still something that but I want to go back. I mean, Bong Alvarez. Go back to Bong.
Yeah.
A lot of stories have been circulating. Of course, the barbershop stories about Bong Alvarez, about his dunks. But you are there. You are his teammates. Any practice stories that you can share to us on maybe how he dunked or what? How do you find his leaping ability?
So Bong was one of the first guys I've ever seen that could just pick the ball up with one hand, the way he did, like a Samboy Lim style. Samboy Lim was kind of one of his idols, I believe. And so Bong will pick the ball up, and I'm sure if you were to check everybody's vertical league, there was nobody like his.
Yeah.
And the way he would just jump out of nowhere unexpectedly, and he's dunking the heck out of the ball was just incredible. Bong, he was truly Mr. Excitement, and he was such an explosive guy to the rim. But I think what took his game and what also helped me with my game, when he was able to start hitting the mid-range jump shot, he was incredible because now there was no answer for him. Bong should have been if it weren't for his injuries, he would have been one of the best, greatest of all times. He still is one of the greatest, but he would have been one of the top 25 players. If it wasn't for his, what was the Achilles injury he had, which kind of really slowed him down because he was such an athletic player. But man, I tell you, my first year there, I was just overwhelmed. I was amazed by his athletic ability. I was really amazed and his creativity. Bong really, the Pinoy shot is what I really got from Bong Alvarez, the up and under and flipping and that was that is a Pinoy shot. That was the Bong Alvarez.
He's like the highest leaping Asian that you've seen.
Yes. Well, he was about 6'2", and the way he can get up under the air was incredible.
Okay, give us some stories. I mean, did he dunk on someone in practice that we have to know right now that, hey, this is something that nobody saw Bong Alvarez do?
Now, I don't know about anything in practice, but I do know he saved his best for Ginebra.
Okay.
Yeah, he dunked on Wes Matthews in one of the playoff games, and he would just put on a show. I think he was almost averaging 30 points against Ginebra. Every time we played Ginebra, Bong Alvarez was killing it. And I know he dunked on Carlos Briggs. You guys remember Carlos Briggs?
Too bad we don't.
Did you have a dunk off?
Wait, Bong.
Anyway,
did Bong play with Ginebra first before he went to Alaska, or did he?
No, drafted by Alaska.
Drafted by Alaska. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, I guess that's where he wanted to go.
Yeah. He was drafted by Alaska, and I think we traded Bong for JoJo maybe or something like that. No, they were together. We traded Bong we traded Bong Alvarez for Bong Hawkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you attempt a slam dunk competition with him in practice?
No, but we used to have fun with after practice. We used to kind of do different tricks or whatever, especially in our younger days. And as we got older, we were like, okay, let's save the legs for the games. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Right. We save the legs for the game. We're like, okay, enough of this dunking just for the craziness for it. Let's be a little, save those for the games when we really need them.
Okay, Brian, you have a question there.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First one, you still remember how many points you scored in that Game 3 win of the conference against Ginebra?
I think it was like 38-39 in the championship game.
34.
I could be wrong. 34, close. Okay.
I have the news article for that. I was checking it while you guys were talking.
Nice. 34.
All right. And another one, there was a game before that. You were going up against San Miguel.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this. You were up against an import, a controversial import, actually. He's the one who changed into street clothes and didn't want to play suddenly.
I remember this. Yes.
Do you know the name of the import?
Wow, I remember the story now because, he got upset and left the game.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know this, Alex? You don't know this?
No, I never heard of it.
All right, because I know this because I've been following this guy. I'm gonna see if Sean remembers the name.
Yeah.
Tell me the first name. The last name.
Andrew.
I don't know.
But he was good. He was damn good. I would say he was very, very good, except for that.
San Miguel always had good imports, though. They've always got the best of the best.
Yep. Andrew Moulton.
Moulton, yes.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot about that story. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. I knew we were on our way when we were able to beat San Miguel. Because my first 3 years there, we could never beat San Miguel. Ever. And so when we were able to beat San Miguel in 91, I knew we were on our way as Alaska. I knew we were like there. Because my first year in 89, 90, because remember, a lot of people don't know, I played 2 conferences in 1990. I came in early and played the big conference, and then I came back and played when we had 2 imports, when we had Carlos Clark with us. So I can never beat San Miguel. Then in 91, when we finally started beating San Miguel, I was like, okay, we're there. And then in 94, 95, when we really started beating them, then I knew we were the best team in the league.
You know what?
Because there was a standard. They were the standard for everybody.
You know what made that game sweeter for you guys?
What's that?
You were in foul trouble in the third quarter. You committed your 5th foul in 59 seconds left.
Oh my goodness!
You don't remember that?
Oh my goodness, no.
You committed your 5th foul with 59 seconds left.
This was against San Miguel?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Man, but I do remember the import leaving the game when he got his free throws and left the game.
Yeah, but he played again. Norman Black convinced him to play again, but it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same after that.
Can I ask you one thing? Why did he put his street clothes on? Because it was too physical and he wasn't getting the calls? Or
That's one.
That's one. Yeah, because that's how it always is. When I was playing back in the day, and when Sean was leaving, it got so much more physical and so much more bigger.
Yeah.
And there was some imports that would be like this. What is this? Basketball? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'll share you the article. I'll share you the article. That's it.
Oh, damn, we got an
wow.
archive.
That's good stuff, man. I need to have that.
I used to be with Manila Bulletin. This is what I did
That's
in my
why.
spare time.
Wow, you still got that. That's classic.
You gotta send that to me later. You guys have my cell phone.
Sure. I'll send it to you. I sent Ernest a couple of pictures. Maybe you can show it later, Ernest.
Where were we sitting at that time? What was the seat? Were we on the top of it or no?
You were in Group B. You were leading. You were undefeated.
Oh yeah, I see it 3-0 right there. Yeah, that's when we had the two different groups back then. Yes. And we played everybody in our group twice and everybody in the other one once or something like that.
Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's good stuff right there.
Ginebra.
Okay.
Was that Poppy Cola?
Yeah, we had Pop Cola was a team.
Pop Cola, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll send it to you guys. I'll copy it.
Okay, I'll go to Coach Emmer. Coach Emmer, you have anything there?
You know that standing, that was 1991 third conference, di ba? Ginebra as a 1-win, 1-loss card.
Yeah.
Sean, you know the word contrapelo.
Oh.
Yeah, the Alaska is the contrapelo of Ginebra. And
Yes.
that loss of Ginebra, that one loss of Ginebra came from your team, Alaska.
Oh. Yes.
Ginebra always lost to Alaska.
Yeah, we were
Especially that time, 1990, 91. Even they have a good import like
Kryptonite.
Matthews, Carlos Briggs.
Yep.
Alaska always beats Ginebra.
And
You
that
wanna know
was
why? You wanna know why? I'll tell you, Sean, because at the time, milk was more healthier than gin.
But
Can I ask question to Sean?
Legit.
Go ahead.
Okay. You have lots of great moments, memories in the PBA. What was the most best or exciting moments in you? Holding a Grand Slam trophy, holding a Best Import trophy, or holding a 100% trophy? Just choose one.
I hate to say this, but the only reason I'm going to say the best import is because the way it happened. Because actually my first championship was the best. It was you achieved that first championship. But the best import, the first time I got that, you got to remember, right? I had an amazing season in 1991. It was probably my best overall scoring, dominating. 1991 third conference, I had a great season. I really had a great season. Who won the best import? Wes Matthews, right? And we beat Wes Matthews 3-0 in the playoffs. But then they had the award ceremony, and it was really cool. And that's when they gave me the 100% because all the sports writers, there was kind of 50-50. They felt like I should have been the best import that year, which was fine. I wanted the championship and the 100% award. At that time, I knew it was special. I didn't know that's going to be that special 30 years later. Diba? Like, that's way bigger than anything 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
94, I had an amazing season. I came back. We were losing. I actually didn't start the season off in 94 with Alaska. They played their first 3 games without me. And then I came over. And then we went on a 9-game or something like that, 8-0 run. Then we made it to the finals. Sunkiss was about to, I think they were trying to win a Grand Slam or something like that. I can't remember.
94, you beat Pure Foods.
94 was Sunkiss. Sunkiss was
95 Sunkiss.
Yeah. So that year I was really good. And then 95 I was really good. But they gave it in 94. They gave it like it was a 6-2 or 6-3 conference, but one team had an import that was they were allowed to have a handicap like at a 6-4, 6-5. That guy didn't make it to the finals, but he got the best import award. I can't remember what it is. He's a guy from LA. Then 95, I felt like I had an amazing season in 95. But I prefer the trophy to be the best import. But then '96, when I got it, I was more like, I was so happy for my teammates because they wanted me to have it the most. You know, it was like they wanted me to be acknowledged finally by the press corps, by the writers, by the fans. So when I got it, it was like, man, I felt like my teammates were so happy for me, so I was so happy for them that we got it all. But of course, that year, right, we got the best import. We got Johnny Abarentos as the MVP. JoJo and Johnny, Mythical 5. I mean, I think Jeffrey Cardell first? No, that was the second year. Edward, I think Pudge Winyard got most improved. I mean, we walked away with all the awards that year. You know.
I'm gonna tell you with Emerson, the Wikipedia. One of my coaches from Global Port. He's right. He's right, because in 2000, when I first came in the league and we played you out of town,
yes,
they were saying that's why in my head that's what they were saying. This guy Sean Chambers used to be a beast. You got to watch him because he's very and we were out of town in Pangasinan and we played. So my energy was like, oh, we gotta. This is the thorn for Ginebra. This is the thorn.
Yes,
that's what they kept on saying. We keep losing because of the system they have, the triangle, with everybody working in motion. One side's working, the other side's stagnant. Waiting. So it was like you had to be on a swivel. You had to be on a swivel. And they would. I remember that. I remember it was Alan K. Dick as the head coach. And his assistants. They were saying Alaska is the thorn for Ginebra.
We have been the thorn, yes.
Yes, and because after the 5-peat, you've always been spanking Ginebra before.
That's right.
And they said we can't, and I remember we can't lose this out of town game.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, the pressure's on me. It's my first like out of town game with Ginebra. I'm like, damn.
I can visualize that game. Remember the court and everything.
Yeah, and I remember because when they put me out there, because Pangasinan used to be my home team. Yeah. Pangasinan Waves. So when they put me out there, the crowd remembered when I played for them. And I remember I went back door. I think Bal gave me a bounce pass and I dunked it. And you looked and you were like, damn. And then the crowd went hype. And then I did another dunk, a back-to-back dunk. And all of a sudden my coach took me out because I was getting too excited.
Yeah. Slow down, young fella. Slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down, young fella. But that game, I remember. That's the reason why. Yes, you're right, Emerson.
Yes.
It was. I remember Coach Alan K. Dick saying that to me, saying, we can't lose an out-of-town game. Alaska's a thorn for Ginebra. No, we can't. And it was like there was so much pressure on everybody.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things Tim Cohn some about is when we went out of town. And you guys will know this. We took pride in winning every out-of-town game. And because of that, we were jumping up the ranking, the league, because we were winning every out-of-town game. Like we went on a stretch where we won something like 15 out-of-town games in a row. And we were just so locked in. We got to win the out-of-town game. Don't take it just to have a good time, to get away from now. Go take care of business and go have fun. So we were kind of locked in different for those out-of-town games. We knew that it would put us in a situation with the standings. And it was always a top competition like a Ginebra or a Pure Foods. Like we didn't go play the easier teams. It was always one of the tougher teams on the road.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, for a while, man, I don't recall losing to Ginebra until like the 2000. I don't recall losing at all.
Because we won that out of town game for the first time. We were celebrating.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but we won the out of town game. We celebrated like crazy, like it was a championship. I swear to God, that was the first time I got that drunk. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "We did it! Let's celebrate!" So we used to we got the cases of San Miguel beer, and then some Ginebra, the Calamansi, and then we were excited. We finally. But then again, I ain't gonna lie. When we went back to Ultra, then we went back to Araneta.
Yeah.
Yous were in rare form.
Yeah.
In rare form. I remember that after the out of town game, Yeah, you came back and you were like, Johnny A was there, Mendes, even Rodney Santos.
Rodney Santos was doing the thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I do remember how sneaky the back, from the high hand. If you get the ball on the top, you can do the handoff and then face up. And I was like, if no one's gonna move with me in the paint, we're gonna lose. We're gonna because you were always moving. You were always moving. I remember. Damn, that's kind of old.
And once we lost a game like that, we really went back to the drawing board, and we was able to take it to another level. And so, so we actually made it to the finals that year. We lost to San Miguel in the finals with Lamont Struthers.
Yeah, the helicopter.
The helicopter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean, I have this question. I mean, Mr. 100%. You think any import right now could be Mr. 100%?
Well, obviously, Justin's doing an amazing job. I mean, I would have liked to see what keep him going, like with the pandemic didn't happen. So really, I mean, he lost out on almost like 2 years right now with the pandemic that happened, right? 2 conferences for him. But Justin Brownlee does things the right way. He represents the country the right way as an import. He's everything that we old guys like to see in the new imports and the new Americans that come over there and respect the country like we did. He's a throwback. He's a Norman Black, Bobby Parks type of guy.
I think he's going to represent the country, right? Ain't they're going to naturalize him to play for the?
It's still in process. It's still in process. But Sean, do you see some similarities between you and Justin? Because both of you are much loved. If there are 2 imports that Tim Cone loves, it's you, and now it's Justin. It's like your little brother right there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's a throwback, man. He reminds us of, okay, honestly, when I watched Justin, I'm like, there's no way I was that good as that guy was. That guy's a baller. He can do it all. He can, that guy's a baller, man. And he just keeps coming and keeps coming. And then I popped in some old videos. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I was pretty good. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. But,
Yeah, you forget. You forget, right? You forget.
And when you're a player, you're doing it, you're in it. And we forget how good we were. And I was to tell you, like, you watch some guys, I watch high school kids, and I'm like, I never moved like that. These guys are
but then when you go watch an old tape, you're like, hold up, I ain't that far back. Are you crazy?
Exactly. So I was throwing some tapes in with my son, and I was like, wait a minute. Old man was out here getting it in. I was a little different. I was on a motor, right? I was a motor, but when I watch guys, I'm going, holy crap, these dudes are off the hook. These guys are ballers.
When you rewind and you go into your own little tape, you're like, wait a minute. I had things cooking back in the day too.
Yeah. But you forget, because now we're older. You're like, I can't run like that anymore. You don't watch your old videos that much or whatever. I haven't seen any of my old films in a long time. Like they're on VHS. And so what I did was, because the pandemic happened, we're all home. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can purchase an old VHS player and get these videos transferred over onto digital. So we were popping, and so I got almost every championship series: San Miguel, Ginebra, Pure Foods, Shell. I got all those series, and then some other games. And so I got some other just like random games where I was just on fire, and then I was like, "Holy crap! Your pops was getting it in." So then I can see the comparison. But when I watch him now, I'm like, that guy's way better than I ever was, ever. But
okay, Sean, I'll put you on the spot here. Sure. I'll give you a time machine and pick up your prime Sean Chambers and go up against Justin Brownlee right now. What will that 1-on-1 be?
So we're very similar. He shoots the ball way better from the 3-point shot because I never shot threes. I think he's an excellent defender, but I am a defender. Like I took pride in stopping everybody's best player, and then I took another pride in shutting down the import in the fourth quarter. So do I feel like I could have shut him down in the fourth quarter? Yes. So now would I be able to continue and outwork him on the other end of the court? I don't know. I would believe so, yes. But I think we would have been maybe a wash. Maybe we would have washed each other out, and it would have been up to the locals to take it to the next level. And I'm going to say my team is going to win because I got Johnny Barrientos.
Okay, so we're going with the 96 Alaska Milkmen versus this Ginebra San Miguel. You're saying that your Alaska team,
hands down,
will go up against LA versus Johnny Barrientos.
Yes.
And Bong Hawkins will go up against Japet Aguilar.
Yes, he'll outsmart him.
He'll keep him off the board. He would keep him off the board. He would keep Japet off the board. I guarantee you.
Because
I love Japet, but Bong was he was a technician. He was a technician at his position.
And both of you are running the same offense.
I'll give you this.
You're running the same system.
They're not running the triangle anymore. They run some parts of the triangle. We would have still run the triangle. So I will give you this. Marlo Aquino has a more refined offensive post game than Japet. Japet is a drop-off dish guy finish. Now, I love Japet. Japet, I knew him when he was born because his dad played with me, right?
Yeah.
His dad was one of my teammates, right?
Super athletic.
Yeah. Now, Bong Hawkins would have physical him, up and under, poke fake, put him away from the basket, shoot the mid-range jumpers, and he would have just...
Then Pochino would have had his way with them, too.
And then you have Put.
Okay, so this is the thing. They say height is might, and Ginebra right now has a 6'9" Japet Aguilar, and of course, Greg Slaughter is going to be back.
Right.
You're telling me Bong Hawkins and Pochino will outsmart these two guys?
Absolutely. I mean, just look at what he did against. We have the same scenario. You had Marlo Aquino and EJ.
Okay.
Same player.
Oh yeah.
Same players, right? EJ is Greg Slaughter. Marlo Aquino is Japet. But Marlo Aquino had a dynamite offensive post game. Marlo Aquino was phenomenal. And Bong Hawkins was able to physic him off his spot, didn't let him get to his spot, and then he was in trouble. Now, JoJo, and you're going to say probably Stanley, right? Well, we did with the triangle. Stanley is faster, quicker, and he is a three-point sniper. But we're going to put Stanley in the block to cover Jolas. Good luck.
But Jolas, I work with Jolas. I work with him with the junior NBA. But before then, not his defense is underrated.
Underrated. JoJo took all the imports. When we're like 6'4" and under imports, Jolas covered the imports. So I'm going to take that matchup. And I'm sorry, I love you, LA, but you're not Johnny A. Johnny A is going to carry us over the top. And so all I got to do is, for an example, the San Miguel Championship when we played against Henry Travis. Henry Travis was kicking our butt. But our goal was to stop Alan Kaidik. Let Henry Travis get his 40 points, but don't let Alan Kaidik add another 30 points to it. That's how we won. And so we feel we would have done the same. I feel we would do the same with the Ginebra team today. And I would just have
This is so nice. I mean, I've always loved playing fantasy basketball. I mean, picking up the legendary teams against the current teams, or maybe another team.
Well, I can say this right here. It's not as physical as it used to be.
Right.
So the physicality now, like I was talking to, I'm hands down. I was talking to a friend of mine, trainer. He's a trainer of Ginebra. They pulled back on so much physicality in the middle. Kurt Kalla, Coach Kurt.
Yeah.
And we were talking. He was like, the guys are good, but it's not like it's physical anymore. So everything is like, they're changing the game because of the NBA and this and that. But he goes, these guys got the potential, but it's not like before the gladiators, like you used to go into the arena, it would be like, dun, 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 and then the other side, the lights come on, and then you come out and you clash. And now it's like, now it's like, foul. And you're like, come on, this is, okay.
Come on, man.
We're gonna play
Think about
table
it.
tennis. You know,
Johnny Abarinthos with no touch fouls. Come on, you can't stay in front of him. If you can't hand check Johnny, think about that.
That's it.
I mean, come on. And then don't get.
I agree. Listen, Sean, Ginebra's my team. I love Ginebra. I loved it. It was my moniker. It was what I live for. Live or die. Never say die. The fighting, like you came in the league, you dove for law. I love that. That was my type of job. But I have to agree with you. I mean, that time you had the chemistry that was just
it was dynamite.
That Alaska team was. I mean, it's like.
And I'm not kissing your ass because you're on here. Because I do remember how a blink of an eye, you should all be moving the ball this and that weak side, and you had yep. Hard if you're just one hustle player and everybody's not hustling. You got one hustle, can't do it all, so it's got to be a team effort, you know. And it was tough, but you know we're happy you retired, and we kind of spanked you the
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't forget we had Jeffrey Cardiaso coming off the bench.
That's like pulling out a gun in a fist fight. You have someone like that coming off the bench,
right? Jeffrey coming off the bench, man, and like I said, I love LA, but LA's not the greatest defender. He's just a smart guy out there, and he facilitates. He's a great floor general.
He's a smart point guard.
And if you're not a big guard on Johnny, forget about it. If you're the same height as him, forget about it. He's going to shoot over you. He was the most athletic at his size.
And the amazing thing with Johnny Abarinthos is he can actually do a full court trap all by himself, right?
All by himself. All by himself. But like, guards like Pomartin and Aitor Augustine and all those, and who's your guy? I'm sorry, I can't think of the guy at Ginebra, the point guard.
Baldavid.
Yeah, Baldavid. Those guys, they didn't have a chance against Johnny because they were the same height. You had to put a bigger guard on Johnny to try to control him.
So watching Baldavid defend Johnny Abarinthos is like, okay, it's gonna be a bad day for Baldavid.
Bad day. Good luck. And then I got a video clip I just posted on my Instagram. I don't know if you guys follow me. I posted three clips on my Facebook and Instagram with Johnny Abarinthos the other day. And one was against Al Solis trying to stay in front of him. Johnny goes, looks this way, hangs in the air, comes back, thinks about it, then lays it back up with his hand. Like he's hanging in the air for like 5 seconds. It was just
with that reverse. Yeah, he has that. Yeah.
He was a game changer. So
yeah, I still remember Johnny Abarinthos had this incredible layup against a 7-footer in the SEA game, in the Asian games. I don't know if you still remember that, Sean.
I do. Yeah.
That was amazing, and you have a young Jeffrey Carriazo whose motor is incredible during his early years, and that was indeed something else that you guys are coming off. That he is coming off the bench for you guys. But again, anyway, let's give Ivan a chance to ask a question here. Ivan.
I was supposed to ask one question earlier.
Bago Gising.
No.
Come on.
I'm checking. Because in 1996, you played in the Commissioner's Cup, and Commissioner's Cup is known to be the big import conference. How were you able to deal with the likes of Ken Redfield and the other big imports?
So, man, I just came in, and what my thought was, in order to, like we're talking about a big guard covering Johnny, my thought was with these big guys, I'm not going to be able to shoot over them. I'm trying to play with my back around the basket, play around. I need to beat them down the court. I need to get out and run. And then again, like we were talking about by then, my backboard mid-range jump shot was pretty much starting to become on fire. So I was killing the backboard shot. So I was able to stretch him out. And when they got too close, I had this 1-2 right-left crossover where I can get to the rim around him. So I was just outsmarting him. I was really become more at that time, still athletic, but then that's when it all comes together when you're starting to become more cerebral. I'm outsmarting guys instead of just trying to keep my wheels spinning. So my skill level was starting to come up in 96. I was starting to outsmart them a little bit more. and then I can still outrun them on a fast break. So I was trying to beat the guys down the court before they can catch up. And so are you talking about the '98 season where when I came in and filled in for what was our import right then? Oh my God, because he ended up winning for us. Can't think of his name right now. Not Derek, but it was gonna kill me right now. But anyways, I came and filled the first 3 games, and we kicked butt in all 3 of those games in the 6A conference. And then he came and took over for us. But that was my mindset: was be smarter, be quicker, and just kind of make them bring themselves away from the basket where I can have the advantage.
Okay, but tell us about something about the Grand Slam, Sean. I mean, winning a Grand Slam takes a lot of mental toughness as well. Run us through what's going on behind the lockers, behind the basketball court, in the locker rooms, in the practices of that Grand Slam year.
So, as you know, in the PBA now, as you guys all know this, like, you know, you win the first conference, you got this euphoria, you're super hyped, you're excited. Now you got 3 weeks off, and you got to start playing again second conference. So that the PBA is very difficult to be successful, you know, especially over a 3 conference. It is almost impossible. That's why the Grand Slam does deserve the credit they get. So now you go through a Game 7. We play against Shell and win this Game 7 series that was highly emotional, highly fought against Ken Redfield. We win that. Now you got 3 weeks off, and now you got to come back and play again. So the third conference, we lost our first 3 games of that third conference after winning, right? So we were a little bit emotionally drained, and then we decided, again, like I said, the uniqueness about these guys were we were ready to go, okay, we're ready, let's go. And then we ran off 13 games in a row. So what's happening back then in the locker room, we weren't talking about it. We weren't talking about the Grand Slam. It was in the back of our head. It was everybody's dream. But we were just got into the place where I'm always telling my players, stay in the moment. Don't look ahead. Don't look behind. Stay right here in the moment. Play today. Take care of the day. Play tomorrow. Play this game. You cannot, if you try to look and try to think about it beforehand, you're never going to achieve it. You must play in the moment. So even during our run, we were taking care first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Game's over, practice, let's get ready for the next game. And if we so happened to get ourselves into the finals, so be it. And what was unique about that, the league back then, I think if we finished in the first 2, we were automatically in the semifinals. We didn't have to go into a series, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it was, because then I knew we played Shell, and we just destroyed Shell in like 3 games or something like that, and then we went into the finals. So it was like, you know, we didn't talk about it. We knew it was there in the back of our head, but we were just trying to not get ahead of ourselves, you know. And when we lost those first 3 games, everybody was like, we didn't panic. We didn't freak out. We were just like, it was almost like we knew we had a grace period, you know what I mean? We knew, like, if we could lose 3 games and then if we win the rest of them, we were still going to be in first place. And that's what happened.
Okay, guys, any questions about the Grand Slam? Brian, you have a question?
Actually, I have one question, but it's not related to the Grand Slam.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Tulog na.
Okay lang. Irrelevant. Sean, just gonna ask about the one with when Wes Matthews won the Best Import Award and not you. Did that give you any kind of extra motivation to perform?
Yes. You know, it was kind of not bittersweet because he got the best import, but I won the trophy. And then when I got the 100% after that, it kind of made me forget about the best import. And then there was a press core MVP best import of the actual championship series. I received that as well from the press. So although I didn't get another best import under my belt, it was again it was much better to get that 100% award and being at that ceremony. I remember we had like a big TV show ceremony at that time for that. It was really neat, and that was the first time I was ever part of it.
Okay.
I have one more. Because you mentioned earlier that you won 13 straight games in the Governor's Cup, and we were up 3-0 against Ginebra in the finals. But in Game 4, you lost by just 1 point. So was there some sort of a fear that Ginebra will pull up this 3-0 comeback and become the first ever team to do so in basketball history instead of San Miguel?
So what happened there was they brought in another import from Australia. They had a guy named Fred Cofield on their team at the time, and Fred Cofield and I had a little bit of a beef from our leagues in Canada because he was the best player in Canada, and I always thought I was better than Fred Cofield, but I didn't get the same accolades because he was from a well-known university. I can't remember where Fred was what. But when he was in Canada, he was one of the best players in the league. But when he came to the Philippines, I was going to go, okay, Fred, I'm going to tell you what. This is my league now over here. This is where my home is. And you're never going to beat us here. So they ended up getting rid of Fred Cofield after 3 games, and they brought in a guy, Derek Rucker from Australia. Now, they won that Game 4. No, was it Game 4? Yeah, Game 4. We won the first 3 games. In Game 2, at the end of the game, I suffered a 3rd-degree sprain. I sprained the heck out of my ankle. And we were able to win Game 3 with my ankle, but it started getting weaker and weaker. So we knew Game 5, we had to win it or it was going to be a problem going forward. So when Game 5 came around, I knew, like I said, when we lost Game 4, we were all back at practice the next day. It was like, okay, 1 more game, we're done. And everybody was on the same page. We knew we were going to win Game 5. And again, look at the stats of Johnny in that game and the shots he made in that game. And funny that Alex mentioned it, the biggest play of that game was in Game 5, one of their bigs, I think it was Marlon Aquino, came down with a rebound, and Johnny came from behind and snatched it down the stretch. True story. Look that up. Johnny came and snatched it at the end of the game. It was like a 4-point game. Marlon came down. Johnny sneaks around, snatched it, dribbles it out, and we end up dribbling the clock out again.
Yeah, that is what they are telling Alex to do about Johnny.
Yeah.
It's not to bring the ball down.
Never bring the ball down past your shoulders because Johnny would have it. Once you get the rebound, just grab it here and then go back up or pass it real quick because once you go down, you try to turn, Johnny, the flying A was out with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let's show some pictures. Okay, Ivan.
Lagging.
Actually, Johnny A was Johnny A was a game changer. That game.
Of course he was.
Yeah, it was.
Kala ko naman kung ano sasabihin eh.
Wait, I have one more question for Sean. Sean, all your PBA career, you only play for Alaska. Were there any teams who tried to get you on their side?
There you go.
No, but I hate to say this, but the only other team I would have liked to play for would have been Ginebra.
Ooh. with the living legend or under the living legend?
But there were no offers.
No other offer because I was always signing with Alaska before I left. So I always signed a contract for my next year before I left the country. So I was always making sure Alaska was committed to me and I was committed to them. But I've always, and who wouldn't, admire the Ginebra support, the Ginebra fans, and the admiration they got from their fans. And although as the rival that drove us to beat them, that was our motivation, but you had to admire the love and support the Ginebra fans had for their team. And can you imagine, the way that I played, how hard I played, and the energy that I played with in front of the Ginebra fans? Right? They were
that was like being deaf because you had to play above the crowd screaming and
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game.
You could have been the first Justin Brownlee.
Yeah, can you imagine the way I played like Justin?
That is why Justin Brownlee is being loved right now. Yeah,
they would have went bonkers. They would have went crazy, because I would have never quit. I would have never gave up for them. The truly never say die. Right? That's how we played as Alaska.
Okay, very interesting. Brian, let's show Sean more pictures. Yep. Coach Emerson has pictures, and Mark as well as pictures. Let's take turns on showing pictures. Brian, you want to show your stuff first?
Ako ba?
Oh, yeah.
I gave you the pictures.
Ikaw na magpakita. Ako pa yung inutusan mo.
Wait. Paunahin mo na muna si Coach. I wasn't ready.
Okay, sige. Si Mark na lang. Mark, you want to show some pictures to Sean?
Sure. So I have a lot here.
A lot. Sean, I'm sure you met Mark before. He made a video out of you.
Yeah, I saw that video, man. It was pretty funny. It is pretty cool. I was doing one of my visits to one of my students on my campus, and they pulled that video up, and they're like showing their kids.
And they saw the views of that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Well, you're on.
Oh, there it is. Classic.
94.
Yeah. The Grand Slam team, actually.
But that's Grand Slam. Where's Jeff? Oh, there's Jeff. Yeah. Grand Slam.
Sticky, we have here.
Yeah.
Sticky Backman and
Sticky Backman.
Pineda.
Yeah.
And Luke Longley here.
Coach.
Longley of the Philippines. What else? I think this is one of my favorite picture of Sean in 1989.
Yes, that was my first year there.
Oh, look at them, Coach Shorts.
Look at Coach Tim. Look at Abigadabin, Coach Adik, Bong Alvarez, Eric Atamanano, Ray Lazaro, I think is behind me.
Yeah.
But that's when we took third place in 1989. We took a tour bus up to Baguio, and we were stopping in all these different cities for KP shoes.
All right.
Your outfit, your outfit now, your outfit then is now.
Yeah, man, I was on. My legs were sexy.
You were on. You still lit. You still fire, Sean.
Fire.
You fire right there, bro. It's classic.
And that Bong Alvarez right there.
With the Jordan shirt on. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace with Coach Arik and Rek Marata.
Yeah.
The guy in the white is Ed Roque.
Any more, Mark?
Yeah, Roque. That's what that is. Roque. That's it. Yeah. Oh, you're on. That's 100%.
And look at that smile.
That was such an amazing feeling for me. That was so awesome. It really was.
And the shirt.
Yeah, my shirt was this hot mustard with the design. I can remember the outfit.
Okay, how about this one?
That is put JoJo
Wacky Trillo.
Wacky. I don't know if that's the 94 champ. Yeah, because I see the that's definitely 94.
Yes, that's 94.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even see the date on there. 94.
Good memories, huh?
Yes, yes. Oh, Wes Matthews. I'm sorry, buddy. This is not the NBA. This is the PBA. This is where I'm.
So that is the conversation right there.
Yeah, because he thought he was the man. He was pretty arrogant. And by the end of that series, the Ginebra fans were really mad at him because he could not match my desire in that series.
Mm-hmm.
The Ginebra fans were mad at him. He could not match the desire. He didn't, it was like, that was my NBA, man. The PBA was my world. And he was just there collecting a check, I felt.
All right. This one.
Is that Don Apalayo?
Yep. That's Don
Yeah.
Apalayo.
No, that was it. Ginebra, the sweep. And for my legacy to be able to not beat Ginebra, but to sweep them in that series was pretty big.
That's tough to do. That's tough.
Yeah.
Here.
There you go.
Marlo Aquino.
Did you get a shot off?
Parang aswang.
Inayungan.
I'm sure I got the foul line. I think that's Vince on the back. Yeah, that's Fred Cofield. So that was definitely 96.
So this is a foul right here.
Definitely.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And that's the way they
Back
played
in that day, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And wait.
For me, right? Yeah, if you want to win a championship, you want to beat Ginebra in the championship, right? If you want to have a great legacy.
This was the one I was asking you earlier, Sean.
The box scores.
Box score, yes, sir. Yeah, that's a good day.
Brian, can you enlarge it so we can see it further? Yeah.
Chambers 34, Alvarez, yeah.
Like
that.
Wesley Matthews, 26.
34 points.
Matthews couldn't keep up. Lastimosa, Polistico. That was Ruel Go. That's not Ruel. That was Noni Gomez. What's his name? Gomez. It was.
Yes.
Roel Gomez.
Yeah.
Ruel.
No. It was Noel. This was a different Gomez, not Ruel.
Okay.
But you pronounce it Ruel.
Yeah, Peter Navarro. Yeah, man. Eugene Kilbad. I just got a text from Eugene Kilbad 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. One of the guys I used to.
This is Frankie Lim, right? Frankie Lim, the one that made 17 points.
Look at that, man. We had a great combination, spread out. 34 Alvarez, Lastimosa 7. B-Boy Rivanas had a big game down the stretch in that game. I can remember that. He had 2 big buckets.
Wow.
Look at that.
You know what the funny part about that? Because that was game 7, right? That was game 3. That was the final.
Game 3. This is game 3. Here, the
Game
airport.
3.
Is
but
that Ginebra Isaac? Is that Leo Isaac? Leo? Coach
Leo Isaac.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, Leo Isaac. Wow.
So what's funny about this is if you scroll up, you see the Pepsi. Who did Pepsi play? So you remember we used to have a 3rd place trophy every year. Mm-hmm. They played before us, before the game.
Second runners up.
Second runners up. And I think it was a scenario like if San Miguel didn't win this game, they could have played another game after our finals. It was something crazy.
Yeah. Sean, I have a question here. I see the name Distrito.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he do anything to you? Did he do anything funny to you during your playing years? He has a lot of stories between other players.
So, the deal is, if you come over and you take your first physical hit and you don't retaliate, you don't react, and then you still maintain your physicality as a player, the local players will not test you. They're going to respect you. And then as you do it for a longevity of time and you start to have success, there's a respect that comes with it from the local players that they're not going to try to harm you in any way. They want to beat you, but they're not going to play dirty against you. They're not going to take a hard foul against you. There's a mutual respect that goes on after a while when you have the success that we had as Alaska.
What's that scenario?
So I'll tell you what happened was actually it was my first year, my second year. It was actually, I got fouled super hard by Jaworski.
Okay.
I was going to the basket super hard, and Jaworski just really kind of did a hard, close
chop.
Fit. Yeah, the hawk,
the hawk. Yeah, the hawk. Yeah.
The hawk. But because of the force I was coming with, I hit him, he falls down. And I took the hit solid, and I maintained my balance. I don't think I've ever been fouled again like that ever again the rest of my career. Ever.
Okay. See, you just have to show your fangs.
Sean, I'm not sure if this is you. The one behind.
Yeah. That's I think that's 96.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 96 is one at Quinetta Astrodome. I know that for a fact. Yep.
Yeah, Coach Arik is there. And again, that the Grand Slam at the 4 Grand Slams in the PBA. You are part of one of them. And right now it's really hard to. I mean, Tim Cohn had the last Grand Slam with Sadmig Coffee, but you know what? Looking back at your career, I mean, what can you say about making a mark more on the Philippines in your life? I mean, it's like some people would hesitate to go out of the country.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I think it goes back to the beginning of this whole podcast and when we were talking. When I got released at the Charlotte Hornet camps, and I didn't believe that's what God intended for me. When I got on the airplane and I get a call from the Philippines asking me to fly over, and I said yes without hesitation. That whole 14-hour flight over to the Philippines, I kept praying, and then I just knew this is where God wants me to be. This is where my journey is going to be. This is where my legacy is going to last. And I wanted to full on embrace it. My first year, like in that picture in 1989, we took 3rd place. And this doesn't happen with other imports. Think about this. We took 3rd place. I just joined the team that year. The team kept me there for another 3 weeks to go do this Tour de Baguio and up the country and back and down. And we did all these advertising stops for the organization and for KP. So it was like instant, like I felt was my second home, my first year, and so that started my legacy there and leaving my plant in the country. So when I did go home during the off season, I wasn't thinking about like other guys. Like really, other guys go back home and they're trying to figure out where can they go make more money and or how do they get a chance to make it to the NBA. When I was going back home to Sacramento or to San Luis Obispo, I was thinking about how can I make Alaska better? How can I be better for the team? How can I help Alaska win a championship? I wasn't thinking about any other country, any other tour, what have you not. Now, I was offered other jobs in other countries. And I would always say, okay, is it going to interfere with my job in the Philippines? And if it didn't, I'd be interested. But if it did, I'm like, nope, no, thank you. Nope. My goal is to win in the Philippines. That's what I'm committed to. So when you have that, you have such a desire and appreciation when you do win and when you do have success. It was like you put a plan out there and you achieved it. So that's how you leave your mark. And I think Justin Brownlee is like that as well. I think, that's where he wants to be successful. You look at some of the other imports that's been in and out of the country. Philippines is not their main stop. They somebody offered them a job. They're like, hey, it's going to be good money. It's going to be good basketball. But is it where they really want to be? Like, is that where they really want to be as far as their legacy? And I'm not going to say a lot of people can say yes to that. Bobby Parks, yes. Norman Black, yes. Justin, yes. But there's not a lot. There's few that's come back and forth. I'm trying to think the 2 kids that Tim had at Pure Foods or with Sam Mig. He had 2 guys. I can't think of their names right now. But Tim had 2 guys that he brought back over twice, 3 times, 4 times. Those guys, I would say yes, but they were also looking at other gigs. My job, my whole success for my basketball career is that I wanted to be a winner in the PBA. That was it. I just wanted to win in the PBA.
Okay. Any more questions, guys, before we try to wrap this up? Alex? Ivan. Okay, go ahead, Ivan.
Just to clarify, because you mentioned some guys team brought back 3 twice, 4 times. Are they players?
Yes. You had the two for Tim. One was the big guy. One had the mohawk. Can't think of his name. For Simmons.
Mohawk. Wait.
Marcus Blakely.
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 Yeah, Blakely. Yeah.
Blakely. Yeah, the other big guy. The post.
Devan or Bowles?
Bowles. Yeah.
Bowles. Denzel Bowles.
Yeah. So yeah, Denzel and Marcus Blakely. Tim brought back, several times, and they won multiple championships. But I don't know a lot of guys. And also you got to think, like, some of the organizations, some of the teams, like, they don't see it the same way, like, to value, like, to bring an American guy back over a period of time. I played 13 years. That's unheard of, right?
Yeah, usually an import maximum more like 5 years is already.
Yeah, three to 5 years. 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years. I played 13 years straight.
Yep. But the thing is, I was like, whenever Alaska is playing, it's always Sean Chambers, and I was like, he's still there. He's still there after all these years, and still getting it done.
13 years. Yeah. So come on, man. It was like they were loyal to me, and I was loyal to them. So I wanted to repay their loyalty by being successful to the organization. Helping the. And I think other teams, if they would invest in their imports like that, they would have more success over a period of time. They really would, because, like you said, when I came over, we were like a machine because we all knew each other so well. Yeah. We were a machine, but you had to go through some ups and some downs to get there. Like 92, 93, they're horrible memories for us. But they're 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Those were all just an incredible memory. I always say this with the PBA. Just win one conference and you had a successful year. You got 3, win 1. And that's success. So when Alaska, we won 94, 95, 96, 97, third conference. And start off with 91. So we won that third conference all those years. It was like, that is success. If you win 2, that's incredible. If you win 3, you're a legend.
Okay, Sean, before I ask my final question, whenever you go to Manila, what is the restaurant or food that you're looking forward to whenever you're going here? Sounds cliche, but yeah.
All right, sounds crazy. I can't think of the one of the restaurants I love. There's one of the restaurants I love in Green Bay. I can't think of it as a Thai restaurant. But this is going to sound crazy. I stay normally at the New World Hotel every time I come back. I've been retired since 2001. The same guys are still working there still today.
Wow.
In the hotel, wow. in the restaurant. When I come back to Manila, it's like I'm seeing my family. When I go down to the coffee shop, I see those guys behind the chefs back there, the cooks. They come out and we have a reunion.
Which one is this?
The New World Hotel.
The New World Hotel. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like they're like my family. When I come back, everybody comes out of the kitchen. We've been knowing each other for 20, 30 odd years now. Every championship from 94 on, in the championship series, I would go put myself in the hotel and I would stay there at the hotel during the finals. So I can get up and have breakfast there. I can have room service if I wanted to later that night. I can be left alone and be in solitude during the finals. I would go stay at the New World Hotel during all my finals. So the cooks and everybody are still there, man. They're still there from all this time. And like the guys at the front, the desk manager. So yeah. So that's when I go back. I look forward to seeing all the people at New World Hotel in the restaurant there.
Coach, I have 2 questions before we Coach, why number 20
Yeah.
If you and what actually you guys are cooking there with Chris Gopez for the film? I know you are helping him,
Oh man,
to
love it,
rebuild this coaching thing. So I mean, hope to
love
see
it,
you when you get here with our
love it,
clinic as well. But I mean, that's my
love it.
question, coach.
So number 20, because in college I was number 22, and when I got to Alaska Aces, Frankie Lynn was number 22 already. So the guy who told me that the Philippines could be a place where we can stay and have a longevity and have a career there was named Ray Hall, and Ray Hall was number 20. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take Ray Hall's number because he's the one who really told me about the Philippines, and if they pick me up, I'm gonna love it. So I took Ray Hall's number. I took number 20, and it's like that's now retired. It's in legacy now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, am I there? All right, I'm still
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And so then, I mean, this Film Nation, man, it's been phenomenal. Film Nation Select. I met Chris, and we've been talking, and I've been able to go work at 3 of the clinics so far, the camps, and it's just been a natural connection, and it's really good for me to share with the people, let them know, like, look, I'm not Filipino, but the love I have for the Filipino people and the love I have for the Filipino culture, I can never repay it. Like, it's just amazing the love that they have shown me through the course of my life and my career. And like, here I was a poor black kid in South Sacramento. Now I'm a very successful adult male, and I have a lot of that to do to the Philippines and the way that they have, my career as an educator has a lot of foundation based in the Philippines, from what I got from there. So my connection with Chris, man, has been awesome. We had a female camp last week, had over 60 girls there. We talked about the pride of the Filipino back home in Manila and all over the country, and trying to build a women's pool to help the women's national team to be able to compete on an international level. It's a natural fit for me because I coach girls basketball, and there's some moving and shaking that I may be back home coaching the team in the Philippines. So it's just been awesome, to be able to share and work with Chris and Film Nation, and I got to work with Coach Pat Aquino on the women's side, and it was really good stuff. I mean, really good stuff.
Brian?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, Sean. Everybody knows that you tried to apply for the UST head coaching gig because of Coach Eric Del Rosario.
Yep.
So what is it about Coach Eric that you remember best?
So I grew up without my father, and Coach Eric was kind of like that father figure of our whole team. But then there was also a special connection between him and I because I was just drawn to him. Like I said, I was always a guy that respect a legacy, and I respect those that came before me. And I would always attend Coach Eric's game when he was coaching, and winning championships. So, no, he was just an amazing guy, just really loving. He was really like Tata, he was that guy, man. He was just a good father figure.
Okay. And my last one, I can't remember the name of the import that Coach Tim Cone said you recommended to him.
Devin Davis. I finally figured out the name.
Devin Davis. Why Devin Davis?
So I am like I was saying before, like I sit here and watch games all the time if I can. And I love college games because college coaches in America, they're always trying to tweak things, and they'll throw a little play here and a little set there. And so Devin doing the NCAA tournament, I was watching the game. He was at Miami, Ohio. And I when I look at games, I look at guys and wonder, like, oh, that guy would be successful in the PBA. I look at guys, how they work, their size. They may be undersized. They not be completely refined skills. They play a certain way that translates to success in the PBA. So one of my other guys was a Diamond Simpson.
Yeah, Diamond, yeah.
One of my guys. So, but Devin Davis, I was watching him play at Miami, Ohio. I go, he's not going to get drafted because of where he's playing at. He might end up in the CBA. And Tim and I went to Idaho to go watch him play. And it was a funny story. We didn't know the rules back then about we can't just walk up to a player without having an agent contact or being able to talk to the CBA first and let them know, hey, we're here scouting the player. I told Tim, like, look, we flew to Idaho. We went to go watch a play. And I said, hey, we here representing the team from the Philippines, man. We would like to get you. Can we get your phone number? He gives us his number. So we got Devin Davis and everybody just walking up to him and say, hey, man, we need your number. And then some guy from the league goes, hey, man, you guys can't walk to players and talk to them like that. You got to have an agent card. So we're like, whatever, man. We're from the Philippines. We don't know. We ask for forgiveness later. So, and then we picked up Devin Davis, man. And right, rock star. Devin Davis was a stud, man. But yeah, we went behind the curve.
Is that the dude? Is that the dude with the dreads? Devin?
Yes.
Was that Devin Davis?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That's the time I came in. I watched the game in Ultra.
Yes.
When I got drafted, and I seen him. He was a beast. He was solid. He was solid.
So what I was saying though, the difference between Devin and I, Devin went over to Spain and made it like a 10-year career over there. You know, because the imports, as you know, I was like over in Europe, it's like an 8 or 9 month season over there. And I think he was making really good money over there in Spain. So he never came back after those 2 seasons, you know, but he was a beast, man. Devin was a beast. You know, think about that. In 98, I played the first 3 games and Devin came in and then won the next like 10 and we won that series. We had the Centennial in 98. We could have had back-to-back Grand Slams because we were a better team in 98 when we picked up Kenneth Derimbis.
I do remember that.
Right? We were better. We had Johnny, Joe, Bong, Pudge, Kenneth Derimbis coming off the bench. We were loaded. And then the Centennial team, everybody went to go play for the Centennial team for the third conference. So we were like, everybody was gone besides me and a few players. Yeah. Everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. Tim was gone. JoJo went. Johnny went. Bong went. No, I think Bong actually got hurt. He ended up hurt his leg in 98 at the end of the third conference. And then obviously Kenneth Derimbis was on the Centennial team.
Very different Alaska team.
The whole team was gone on the national team. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah, man, great memories. I love the Philippines. I love everything about it. I'm looking to return soon. There's a couple of things that's moving and shaking over there. I'm just going to be impatient and make sure it all works out for me and the family.
Okay.
Don't see me there soon.
Any more questions, guys?
I have one.
Make sure it's good, Ivan.
Yeah. Should be good because you've been an import for 13 seasons, and right now, I think 2 imports, Brownlee and Alan Durham, have been here for about 5 years. So, do you think they have a shot at going at least 10 years, like you?
I would say Brownlee. Durham's a little more of a big body. I don't know how long his durability is going to last because he's more of a bigger guy. And I know he's over there playing in Japan right now. I saw he was in the Japan league. So, and my concern is with both of those guys, I want them to have longevity success, but I do know the more wear and tear that you're putting on all these other countries, it will definitely catch up. You know, so hopefully they'll be, you know, they'll focus on with their return back to the Philippines. It'll be their main focal point.
Makes sense.
All right. Okay. Anything more, guys? Okay, I'll throw the final question, Sean. Now that we've reminisced the past right here, and 2 hours gone by so fast. I mean, we didn't even notice, and lunchtime is already waiting for us. But it's still okay. This is a great meal for us. Basketball stories as well. Sean, I want you to get to ride a time machine again, but this time it's you that's riding, the guy in front of you right now. I ask Alex this: you're gonna go back to the time that you're gonna talk to the Sean Chambers who is just about to pick up the basketball. Okay, you're gonna talk to this. You're gonna talk to the young Sean Chambers, and what will you tell him about the journey ahead?
Wow. I go back and talk to the young Sean Chambers. Embrace everything in front of you. Like, really remember it, embrace it, respect it, honor everything that's in place in front of you, and cherish every moment. And I believe I've done that, but I think there's also part of it where, like, when you're living it, you don't really know how special it really is while you're living it. So just remember, like, you're living in special times and you're being put in a special moment, and it's all God's will. So embrace it and try to share and reach out to many of the people as you can, and try to help change lives in other aspects as well too. So, and no regrets. I mean, I love everything about the Philippines, and no regrets that was my journey, was at that. Like, that was my legacy, was meant to be.
Okay, another question, another time frame to the Sean Chambers who is about to go to the Philippines. The guy who got that didn't get the Charlotte's Hornet camp. To that Sean Chambers who's about to fly out.
So that Sean Chambers, you're about to fly out, man. Be ready for life-changing moments. Like, be ready to have, like, the best times of your life. Be ready to, like, be embraced by amazing people and amazing culture. And thank God that He chose you to be the one. Really. Thank God you chose the one. Just believe this is your journey. That's everything on my uniforms and my club and my program says, just believe. Just believe you're meant to be here.
Okay, Sean, you're not going to give him any lottery numbers or what?
No, I'm not getting a lottery numbers. Like, you don't need a lot when you're living in blissfulness. But yeah, everything in my program is, my basketball club is called JBS, and that stands for Just Believe Sports.
All right. Anyway, Sean, will give you a chance right now to maybe plug anything that you want. Thank people or greet the people that are listening to us.
Yeah, man. I mean, Manami Salame Po, man. I love where I've been placed in this world. I love and I embrace where God has put me in this position to be humbled and appreciated by the Filipino people. And don't be surprised you see me there soon, like real soon. There's things moving and shaking, and it's my desire to come back and continue to be a part of the culture in a positive way. And so I won't put too much out there, but this has been an amazing journey, man. It's been from, like I said, when I first came over in my retirement speech, when I was Alex over there, when I first came over, I was a guest player. I was part of the IBA, and I was part of the All-Star team. I was kind of a guest. And then when I came over of Alaska, I became a team member. And then during my course of playing for Alaska, the way that I've been welcomed and adopted into the culture, I became part of the Philippines. So from a guest to being part of the Philippines to being like, this is my legacy. I cannot even dream of a better story. Like, this is made for TV and movie stuff.
Netflix.
So, we're grateful. Manami salamat. Mahal kita talaga.
Mahal kita din.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it, guys, is like, I say that, and I'm not even BSing. Like, I mean that. Like, that's just me to my core. Like, I really feel my life has been completely changed because of my life in the Philippines.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
Made quite an impact.
Like, you're talking about the Phil Am Select stuff. You should see the parents of these kids coming up to me in these camps. And they're going, oh, my God, I can't believe it's you, Thank you for all the great memories, Good ones and bad ones.
And I think when we name a top 10 or even top 5 or top 3 imports that ever came to the Philippines, the name Sean Chambers will always come out in that
Thank
barber
you
shop.
guys. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. It's really been awesome. It's always great to reminisce.
All right, with that, I'll give everyone a chance to say their greetings. Coach Emerson Colina had to take a very important phone call. He might get a coaching job soon. But anyway, Coach Enrico, kayo muna.
Well, Coach Sean, I appreciate your, privilege to, giving us a chance to, to talk to you, hear, your story. And sorry for trying to get Chris to hook you up because I said, but anyway, Coach, before you go to the Philippines, I hope you would come with Chris coming in here when we do
Yes.
with the Film Nation.
Yes.
And I'll be seeing you, Coach, and stay safe.
Thank you.
I mean that the Gilas thing is a success. I saw that. I was just talking to Chris about it.
Yes.
Coach Pat came here before he get back to you there, but it was a success. So congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Salamat.
Okay, 3B Hoops, Aldrin.
Hello, Sir Sean. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Actually, I enjoy hearing your story, the 100%. And also, sorry I cannot ask some question because I feel under weather right now. So I just wanna hear the story about you. So thank you very much again, sir.
Thank you. Get well, brother. Get well. Thank you.
Mark Sotelo, PH Sports Bureau.
Sean, I just want to thank this opportunity, to thank you because you really make my childhood memorable. Being a huge Alaska fan, everyone knows that. Alaska made me understand the game of basketball and showed me what the teammate and camaraderie is all about. If you will allow me to continue, I remember an emotional game after Joel left. After Joel has left Alaska for Popcola to join Chod. You were the best player of the game, and you said that it's an emotional game because now this time after so many championship you play against Jolas, and I don't understand, but I was crying because I felt your friendship with all those guys from Alaska back in the 90s. So I really thank you. I have a lot of pictures of the 96 and all of the Alaska years. So I really like to just take this opportunity to thank you, and all the Alaska fans are waiting for you to come over here in the Philippines and see you again. You take care and God bless.
Thank you. I remember that saying that was the hardest game to win against Jolas. Like I remember that. I played the game and I was like, it's not the same. It's not playing without my brothers, and Alex can attest to that. It's like when you used to play with guys and they're not there anymore. It's just not quite the same, because these are guys you went through the wars winning battles. And it was hard to play against Jolas. Yeah.
And of course, the Godfather, Brian Yalom.
Yeah. Sean, thank you. I'm very happy you answered all my questions. Now I have something to write about. And I hope you enjoyed those throwback articles as well in the picture.
Awesome. Salamat. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll try to send you the pictures.
Okay.
Through Ernest.
And finally, the living proof, Alex Cresano.
Man, let me tell you, brother. I'm surprised that you remember that. And I do remember that. You got to pay respect. Like you said, you got to pave the way for the people that were ahead of you. You paid homage, and I'm paying homage in return. And I'm graced by those memories, and it brought me back, and it brings a lot of good things back, and that's what I want. And more blessings to you and your family. Whatever you do, whatever you travel, you got the Midas touch. You got the Midas touch. You've been blessed since day one. Keep it going, and I'll be here whenever you need me. If anything, anything, I'm right here, and I'll give you a call for anything. And keep on living.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man. Good to see you.
Love you too, brother. Likewise.
And with that, thank you very much, Sean Chambers. And I would like to. Oh, sorry. I forgot someone again to make his final greeting.
Yeah.
Ivan,
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Yeah, thank you, Coach Sean, and yeah, thank you that you brought us back to the '90s. That time that we're just mesmerized by your dynasty, despite being a kind of a rival, Liverpool, and I hope that when you come back here, you finally get your dream coaching job here. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And Sean, it's Ivan's birthday.
Oh yeah, I forget.
But anyway,
not yet.
MVP.
Every day is Ivan's birthday. We do this because we don't want to greet him on his actual birthday anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you very much for the time, Sean. I mean, all the respect. I was always rooting against you before, but right now, all the respect for you. You were one of the toughest players to play in the PBA, with the toughest team, with the toughest coach. And thank you very much for taking time. A lot of basketball knowledge has been said to us, and it was a great basketball meal for everyone here in this panel, I'm sure. And with that, I want to thank everyone who has been watching, and we're on the road to 100,000 likes on Facebook. Please do 100,000. We're trying to get to that level very, very soon. And again, this is a tough time for everyone right now, and they say this will be prolonged even, but whatever happens, we leave you with this very special message. It's just to stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified with our latest videos.